Hey y'all, come on in. Come on in.
No sweat, tears, something many years, fucking do it for the culture. Now that we aware, revolutionary wisdom music when you're older. Better move a mind through it all the time, standing on divine shoulders. Living for the non-motion, positive energy waves. Spirituality is for humanity, fuck what the enemy say. Motivated in heavenly ways. You know Babylon petty these days. That's a message that gotta be brave. For the record, we heavenly played.
Come on in, y'all.
People should just be a regular day. White supremacy, oppression, find and overcome all that. Get a poverty, depression, find and overcome all that. Any negative reflection, find and overcome all that.
And you know what it is.
Give me love in the place I sit. I'm a king in the ring I get. More from the hieroglyphs. I'll give my eye, I'm fed. Never dealing with the feeling nonsense. Living in, I'm never giving in. When I'm dealing with the wickedness of men, gotta move like a smooth with the wind. Many times we lose, we win. Got no time for the losing sin. We pack the house, we great. In the name of God, we pray. Give me love in the room that's dark. Give me love for the roof that's hot. I'll give my eye, we fit. Never dealing with the feeling nonsense. White supremacy, oppression, find and overcome all that. Get a poverty, depression, find and overcome all that. Any negative reflection, find and overcome all that.
Hit that share button, hit that share button. Hit it.
Nappy head, dirty t-shirt, more sneaks to my feet hurt. Down 5 a.m. from the dirt. Trapped in how society works. Known criminals to the day of birth. How they label me, it never fades me. Brush it off, keep it pushing up. For the people who I do it for. Out the trenches we'll be pushing for. So the time now when we on go. Black matter so I start glow. Hair wool with a penny tone. God like with the melon flow. Mind right, never steer me wrong. God like with the melon flow. Mind right, never steer me wrong.
White supremacy, oppression, find and overcome all that. Get a poverty, depression, find and overcome all that. Any negative reflection, find and overcome all that. White supremacy, oppression, find and overcome all that. Get a poverty, depression, find and overcome all that. Any negative reflection.
Hey, how are y'all doing this evening? This is AMPspirationTTV, and I am your host, the Plum Queen, and we are here with my girl, Akila Speaks. How you doing, sis?
How you doing? I'm good.
Awesome.
How are you?
Now, I know you want to look at yourself while we doing this, but I can hear the thing in the background, so I can hear myself talking.
Okay, you can hear.
Yeah, I can double hear us. Yes.
How's that?
There you go. So, hey, girl. Hey, how you doing?
Good, and great.
All right. Well, I'm going to let y'all know I got a couple of disclaimers.
Okay, disclaim away.
Got a couple of disclaimers. Okay, well, first of all, this wasn't my idea, y'all. This was hers. We can't able to say that right there.
Point at
I'm
me.
Keep it a buck. Well, I'm going to keep it a buck. I was going to leave this alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was just going to let my inbox do what it do. I was going to let people say what they say, and I was just going to leave it alone. But you can't leave stuff alone. Yeah. And this is 2020. This is the, you know what I'm saying?
2020. I call
2020 vision. You know what I'm saying? So you got comments, but I just got questions.
Okay. I probably got some questions too. I'm befuddled by some of this. So the questions are there, but I got the comments. I was inspired by you to even ask you in the first place, because I believe there was something you posted and I was like, okay, we got to speak about this because, it's not just me. You seeing the same things that I'm seeing. You're hearing the same things, or people are kind of coming at you sideways. And the more I talk to people, the more I see we're not alone. There's quite a few of us out there that's feeling this way. So that's when I reached out to you and was like, okay, we got to speak on this.
Well, I appreciate it. And I'm going to say the same thing for my viewers, because I'm sure, I'm saying, they need this work. So I'm going to also put in my disclaimer that, and I do this all the time, I've said this a million times on my lives, everybody has a right to do what it is that they want to do. You can live your life the way you want to live your life. You can walk your journey the way you want to walk your journey. So the questions that I have are honestly for the people who believe that they get to bully and disrespect other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I will be technically addressing, because I'm a firm believer that everybody has their own journey. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna let you start, though. I'm gonna let you start since you brought this up. What's on your heart?
Okay. What's on my heart?
What's on your heart?
Speaking of heart, let me rub my little heart chakra there, and let me just say I'm gonna start grounded and rooted in compassion, in love. And I say that for me because I have to keep me at an even place with this topic, because it brings up some things. We all have a right, as you said, but it brings up sometimes a little bit of annoyances and frustration. I can't say anger or anything like that, but frustration, and especially for my people of color. Sometimes I do get a little frustrated with it. So I'm just want to stay in that place of peace, that whatever I speak, I'm just emitting love, shining my light, and sharing the truth, and let the chips fall where they may. So
I
say. Ashe. So with that said, going into this topic, very heavy pill to swallow, big topic. Don't really like to talk about politics and religion too much because it can go everywhere, but definitely is politics. To vote or not vote, that is the question. And everybody has their right to it. So me speaking to my people, I want to say I speak to mainly people in my tribe of people who want to come out of the matrix. This is who I'm not trying to impose on anybody else. That's my disclaimer. Just like we don't want bullies, we don't want to bully anybody either way. So not trying to impose on anybody. But to people who want to come out of the matrix, you're not alone. It's not one of you. You're not by yourself. We're all here together. And we shouldn't have to feel pressured or bullied by the majority that is caught in this whole matrix of vote, go out and vote now, or vote or die, which is kind of harsh to say too, because my daughter even came to me, was like, why are they being so mean, mommy? And I'm like, what are you talking? She's like, oh, they said if we need to vote or die. So it's even being pressured on kids in that way. Imagine kids hearing that. And this is a slogan. This is what they're putting out there, just with the whole voting aspect. So just like you have the right to vote, we have the right to not vote. And so that's pretty much what I want to speak to in that regards. We have our right to hold our firm ground and not vote. And I'm pretty sure people have different reasons why, just like you have different reasons why you do vote. I spoke to someone and it was just like, look, because I don't know what's going on. This was her reason. I'm not voting just because of the simple fact that I really don't know what's going on. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who to believe. And just like the thing that you posted, voting for the lesser is still voting for evil. If they're both evil, you picking the lesser evil is still evil. So people sometimes just don't want to put their hands in that. And they have the right to that if they don't want no parts of it. And for me, when people ask me plain and simple, I usually just give a quick, I'm plugging out of the matrix. This is me just plugging out because this is all a system. And we have to open our eyes to see that this is a systematic, this is programming. Tell I vision is to tell you a vision. Tell lies, however you want to look at it. Tell lies to your vision or tell a vision. It means to tell a story. So they've been controlling us for quite some time. If we just pay attention as a people, they've been controlling us for quite some time. Ever since television got invented, this was their way of programming us. And now they're flooding us with it through social media and television. No matter where you look, you're being flooded with vote, go and vote. And I say this to my people to just ask this question. This is one of my questions, Queen. I got questions too.
Okay. All right.
My questions is why when people are flooding us with information, why do we not stop and ask why? What is it that you want to flood us with this information for? Even with COVID.
To inform you. I'll answer for them. They're going to tell you to keep us informed.
Oh, that's the answer. To inform us because they care so much. To keep you, let's say, under control. Let me give the answer now that it's for control. This is what I try to, tell people when I talk to people. Look at commercials. Commercials, they don't pay millions of dollars for commercials for nothing. It's because these people in the upper heads know that it's subliminal messaging. A lot of people think they're not affected, but you are. You'll be watching a Kit Kat commercial for however, let them keep playing that Kit Kat commercial. Then when you're standing in the store, all of a sudden you feel for a Kit Kat. All of a sudden you feel for a Snicker, whatever commercial they're playing. And it works. It's not just talk. This works. I actually passed. I passed a government. What you take in high school again? Government and economics. And there was a project.
I'm thinking about high school, government and economics.
And the last year, I think it's your senior year, you usually take government and economics.
It depends on where. It depends on
where you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have that class.
You didn't have economics?
We had, that was an elective. That wasn't a mandatory class. I went to a performing arts high school. So we had 5 classes that were for our major, and then we had 4 academic classes.
Oh, okay. So it's I guess different in different states. But we, in our economic class, we had a project study of doing, I think it was a stock market study, and my group actually won. And when they asked, I remember everybody kind of pointed to me because every time we met, I would tell them, pick this, drop that. I don't know nothing about stocks, right? So when the teacher asked me what made me pick what I picked, I'm going to be honest with y'all. And I just told the teacher, simply commercials. I watched a lot of TV and I watched what was playing on commercials at the time. And if I remember that time, it was, what's the bald head guy? Tyrese, the Coca-Cola commercial. That was playing in heavy rotation. So I told him to pick up Coca-Cola. So whatever it was a cleaning product. I think Mr. Clean, whatever was playing in heavy rotation, that's what I picked. And that's what we want, how we want our stocks. I don't know anything about stocks and bonds, but I know commercials. So if you apply that to today, right? If you just pay attention to whatever they're flooding you with, whatever they're programming you with, there's a reason why they want to funnel your attention in that area. And if you notice through COVID, what information were they funneling? It was always a lot of voting. They cut down the whole country, right? They shut down everything, but they didn't shut down voting. They flooded you with voting. They wanted to still prepare your mind and get you focused on voting. And then coming out of that was what, George Floyd. But go ahead, Queen.
I got a comment about that flooding you talking about. I want to ask my questions. You just gave me an extra question.
Okay.
The whole 35 years of my life. No. Anybody 30 and up, anybody my age and up. In your lifetime, have you ever had this many? Well, we didn't have text and phone. We didn't have texts back then. But have you ever had this much publicity on voting? Every time I check my mailbox, there are 3 or 4 different types of papers, flyers, telling me that I need to vote. I got people texting me from different numbers. And every time they text, I have to say stop. I have to text them back to tell them to stop, to unsubscribe, you know what I'm saying, to my phone number. My whole life, I have never seen them be this due diligent on voting.
Yeah.
Now, the first time they started that, now, even when Obama was it, you know what I'm saying, was going forward, they didn't even do it that way. They kind of used us. They used celebrities and all that to do that. Now they can't do that. Now it's just, it's almost like they're trying to force you. They're having people come to your house
to talk to you about it.
To talk to you about voting. When in your whole life have they ever done that?
And that should tell you why. Why are they doing it now? And it's because it has a lot to do with the 2020, with everything that's happening, the whole reason for COVID and all of their COVID agenda, because they're losing control. They're losing control. And the only way to keep control is to keep control of your minds, and they need the people to believe this is a democracy. And like I've said before, what people need to wake up to is, first of all, understand this is not a democracy. This is a capitalist country. This is one big corporation. Our ID, what is it? Our social IDs, or that's pretty much our work ID. We are a part of this corporation. There is no true democracy, but they need you to believe there's a true democracy. So now they're flooding you with all of this because they know that people are losing it. They know that they're in this great awakening in 2020, and I'm pretty sure astrologers can tell you as well. There's a mass awakening happening. The veil is coming off a lot of people's eyes, and you can't think that the big heads, the elites, they are definitely aware of this. They know that they're losing ground. And like I always say, desperate people do desperate things. Desperate energies do desperate things. So they're desperate right now to keep control over people. And voting is definitely one of the ways. They want to see who they still got. Just by you going in to vote, they want to see who they still got locked in, is what it's all about, while they work on another form of control, which is the COVID, the vaccinations. Let me say that, certificate of vaccination. So they want to, this whole voting is just to keep you in control while they pass over to the next thing. And the next form of control is when they start issuing those vaccines with the nanochips and all that other stuff in it. That's a whole nother form of control. But that's something else.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm sitting here listening to you, and everything that you were saying was pretty much what I would have said if I would have done this live myself. And the reason why I didn't is because everything you're saying is 1,000% true. But all of the naysayers right now, they're talking about you're crazy right now. Oh, yeah. You're a conspiracy theorist. You don't know what you're talking about. And this is why I got questions.
Yes. Give those.
Because if you can't answer these questions, like, all right, let me get to a question. Matter of fact, let me get to, I'm learning, y'all, this is going to be the first episode where I get to share the screen and I can show y'all some stuff. All right. Let me just give y'all a rundown. Let me give them some facts, things that they know. Okay. Now, you're talking about equality. They're talking about our vote counts.
Yes.
Right. And we need to put people in office to represent us. That's what everybody's thought process is. If I vote, if we all come together and vote, that we're going to get the right people. We just need the right person in these seats, and then everything will be all right. All right, well, let's take a look at these seats, though. My disclaimer, I'm new at this, so if it look weird,
bring in the facts.
Yeah, let me, here we go. That ain't the picture I wanted, though. Let me get to the picture that I wanted. You can see what I'm doing right now, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, awesome. That means that they can see it.
I can see it. You all can see it.
All right, representatives. Now, even before I do that, actually, let's go back to that picture. All right, these are the three branches of the judicial system.
That's economics right there, sis. Okay. What you talking about? You didn't take the class.
Like I said, I didn't take the class. I'm that's a whole nother live. I promise you. Okay, so when you're talking about the president is the executive, right? Okay, but it's the legislative people who actually make the laws. Congress, they're the ones who actually make the laws. It says it right here, legislative, make laws, approves presidential appointments to senators from each state, and the number of congressmen is based on population, is what it says. Okay. Let's look at the demographics of that. You have the House of Representatives and the Senate. They all make up Congress, which is the legislative branch. Okay? These people are supposed to represent us, and you say that when we vote these people in, they're our representatives. But I want you to look at those stats. You got 339 white representatives. You only have 46 black representatives. You only have 33 Hispanic representatives, 10 Asian, and 3 other that they didn't even think to mention. On the Senate, you have 90 white, 3 black, 4 Hispanic, and 3 Asian. Please explain to me how this represents us. How is that equal? All these people, 435 people that hold these seats, and these are the ratios of the representation.
Which is still all white. And it's
45 presidents, sis. 45 presidents have gone by, and these are the stats. Please tell me why would I think that I'm representative? Here's another question for you guys when you're talking about elections. No, not even. We're just going to go back to that Bing situation. The Electoral College.
The electoral votes, right? That's you bringing up that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that needs to come up.
This is the law. Right here. Mind you, this is from a Google search.
That took about a few seconds.
The Electoral College, the system by which the president and the vice president of the United States are chosen. Let me say that again. The Electoral College, the system by which the president and the vice president of the United States are chosen.
Exactly. And that points to, I'm glad you brought that one up, because when someone asked me, I took it back to there. I said, let me tell you from when I plugged out of the matrix, to be honest, this is not new for me. Plugging out of this whole political matrix was back when Bush won the second term. This is when the reality hit me and the blinders came off. When Bush won and everybody had voted against Bush, I believe it was Bob Dole at the time, but everybody was shocked. How did he win? This was everybody was so shocked how this man won. And this is when they gave us the excuse or the reasoning that because the popular vote doesn't count, because you could clearly see that Bush had lost the election, right? But he won still. And this how everybody was confused. But how? Tell me how. So their answer that they gave us was, well, due to the electoral vote. So this is where the reality sit into me at that time that, oh, so our vote don't count. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, because I was hearing this all around. This was the new wave around that everybody was saying, so what's the point of voting? Everywhere you go, this is what people was talking about. What's the point of voting? So I'm pretty sure that they knew that as well, that this knocked out a lot of people's belief in voting. And they need you, believe it or not. People think this is light, but the government needs you to believe in their democracy. If anybody has watched Olivia Pope, what's the biggest thing on Olivia Pope? They put this stuff in our face. If you watch it, they'll tell you Olivia Pope will die trying to keep the republic alive, trying to keep people believing in the Democrat and believing in the republic, period. So their biggest fears, I always say this, the government's biggest fears is when people no longer believe in the democracy, when people no longer go. So our biggest protest, I know Black people don't want to hear it, but the biggest protest we could have done is not vote. That's actually the biggest thing that would have scared the hell out of them, is not vote. So anyway, I digress.
You on point.
Let me go back to my point then, is that I took back. Now, when I saw this is clear. People, you cannot miss this. They are telling us in our face that the popular vote doesn't count. We are the popular vote. We're not the electoral vote. So as you just saw in what you pulled up, who determines the presidency is the electoral vote, not us, not people that go to the polls before or on November 3rd. They are not counting your vote, because even if all of you vote for Biden, even if everybody vote against Trump because they want to get him out so bad, if the electoral vote says Trump, that's who's going to still be there.
Let me get mean on you real quick, Akila, because not mean on you, but them. They know that shit. You know why they know that shit? Because that's how Trump got into office. This is what I'm talking about. They already know that, though. Just like you said with Bush. That's how we figured out. That was the first time they showed their hand on the electoral college. Because I promise you, and I
never heard that before.
I never heard about that before until that either.
Until Bush.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So that just happened with Trump 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary clearly got the popular vote without me voting, I'll add.
Mm-hmm.
Without me voting, y'all picked Hillary.
And how did that work out?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Trump. So everybody that ever said to me that I'm the reason why Trump is in that seat, shut the fuck up.
This is the definition of insanity for me. People keep saying, what's the definition of insanity? When you keep doing the same thing
over and over again and expecting something different.
Why are we expecting something different? It's the same thing. They're going to give you the same thing over and over again. They got comfortable with it now, so they could easily tell you, oh, Hillary didn't win the electoral, because they know this is the excuse they told us already, and they feel like everybody bought it, which most people have. Most people buy it. They still, to me, this looks insane. How is it that we now know that our popular vote does not count, but yet we're going to the polls crazy, and we're dragging people with us, and we're bullying people into voting, and we're forcing people to vote when we know they're showing you clearly, you going to the poll, we're not going by what you say, we're going by our electoral vote. And who is in the electoral vote? That's our
who are those people that we don't know? That we don't know
that they put into
that they elect every 4 years. Mind you, this is not just a regular. They get picked every 4 years too.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know who they are. Who are they now? And these are people who represent each state. It's two of them. So who are these two people? Who chose them?
This is why they say the electoral, from what I understand, the electoral vote is people like from our states, our local people. This is why the next thing that you'll hear people say is, oh, that's why you got to vote locally.
No.
That's why you need to vote locally.
2 people gets to represent a whole state of different types of people. I'm from New York. Do you know how many types of people
are from New York? 2 people represent, but this is the madness. 2 people
are representing every nationality, every group of people who have different needs, different wants, different everything.
This is the madness. This is what they want.
How, Sway? How does that make sense? I got another question.
Go ahead.
Why are there only 2 candidates?
Oh,
miss me with, oh, you can vote liberal. You can vote this. No, when we see them debates, you see 2 people up there.
You only see 2. They don't have, the last time I remember an independent party. I don't know if you remember, but Ross Perot.
Yeah.
He ran with Bill and he was independent. That's the last time I remember actively seeing a whole different party running.
Why aren't there every party that's on that ticket? Why aren't all of them on there talking their case? Why aren't all of them debating? Why aren't all of them putting out what it is that they're going to do for the country if they get picked? Why is it only 2 people that gets to get on camera and talk shit?
Because it's all about that 2-headed snake. It's all about the Democrat and Republican, and this is what they want to push.
But I thought this was a democracy, though, sis.
I
thought this was a democracy.
It's this why I said it's no true democracy. It's the democracy that they want you to believe in. They want you to believe you have this voice. They want you to believe you have this choice, but they're giving you a choice. And I gave this example in one of my lives, and it had to do with, I asked you earlier about Papa Duck. If anybody know about Papa Duck, you can listen to something that he posted about it, which it looked like the image that you posted with those 2 people at the poll looked like 2 slave owners. This is what they put on for us. They gave us a choice. So follow me, if you will. We're on a plantation, and one of the ways to control the plantation was to put 2 masters here. And now they called all the slaves together to say, hey, you guys are now free. You now have he told the guy, don't say nothing. I'm going to talk to your slaves. No matter what I say, don't say anything. Don't disagree with me. He told the slaves, you are all now free from this point on. But Matt, you can choose from this master or this master. This is what he said. You don't have to just be working for this master anymore. You can choose from this master. Let me give them a name, Master Sam and Master Tom. You can choose from these 2. You're going to vote who's going to be in charge of your plantation for that day. And since none of you know how to run a plantation, they're going to be in charge, and you're going to be employees that report to them. And This is slave mentality. This was set up from back then. And this is the 2 dresses that they give you. This is what politics does. They give you 2 dresses. They make you feel like you have a choice, but it's really this or that. And very simply put, I paralleled it to like when we parents, if you're a parent or godparent.
I'm glad you said that.
Yes, I'm going to give you a parenting technique. This is a parenting technique where, let's say you want to make your child feel like they have all the choices in the world. And you don't give them the choice of everything in the closet. You take out this or that. And you say, now you're going to choose what you want to wear. You can wear this or you can wear that. And, oh, mommy, I want to wear that. Good job. You chose it. Here you go. Make them feel like they had a choice.
Wasn't a choice at all. You gave them their choices.
You gave them their choice. So this is essentially what they're doing with the whole Republic, Democrat. This is our 2 dresses. You can do Democrat. This is what the government is doing to us. Here you guys go. You can choose. You can do Democrat or Republican. But either way,
you got to pick one.
So do you
since
really
you answering questions, you answering questions. I got questions, you answering them. You answered the question. So let me ask you a question. Why can't we swap them? Why is it that when you have 2 unqualified people and off, you know what I'm saying, running for office, why is it that we can't swap them out? Why are those have to be the candidates?
Oh,
because Trump obviously was not qualified to be president. So why was he up for it in the first place?
Let's look at qualified. Let me give it to you. I know some people ain't gonna like this and probably want to call me conspiracy theorist again, but I can only give my truth. We have to understand that they're handpicked. Just like you heard the term handpicked Negroes. I was watching something on that earlier. We have these handpicked Negroes in our society. We have these handpicked presidents. I call them puppets, to be honest. Ever since I learned about the Bush thing, I realized that presidents don't really have no power. They are puppets for something that is behind them, the elites that are behind them. They are handpicked. So believe it or not, Trump was just as handpicked as anybody else. He's doing exactly what they need him to do, to be an ass in that office, to say whatever he want to say. And certain presidents, I don't know if you noticed, but there's certain presidents that can get away with saying things a little bit more than others. Some have to be more constrained. They can't like even Obama. I love Obama. I love his charisma and everything, but Obama was also handpicked as well. The biggest handpicked Negro, to be exact. And he can't say the things that Trump can say.
Nope.
Let me tell you, if people are being wise to pay attention, this is how you know which presidents have a certain allegiance to the elites. That means they're more in the inner circle than the other president that can't really say much. So remember, Trump is a money man. Trump is also a part of one of the elites and whatnot. So he's closer to the elites that's working behind the fields or, behind the scenes that we don't see. The ones that are actually running the government, not the president. This is one thing that we're fooled to think, that our president is running everything. They're not running nothing. They can't even pass a law. Just like that thing you just put up. If the president want to do something, this another way how we fooled. If the president wants to do something, it has to pass through Congress and all of that, like what y'all seeing going on with the stimulus checks right now. It has to pass through all of them. He can't just come out and say, hey, I'm president and I want to do this. Nope. No, he's not the lawmaker. He's not the legislator. He is the president. He can come up with some stuff and he can put it on the desk and they can look at it and let him know if they're willing to pass his bill or not. So they don't really have the power that you think they have. And if they want to do what they want to do, to be honest, if people really look at history, a president who does what he wants to do, JFK, y'all see what happened to JFK. If you come in there thinking you're going to come in here and make things better for the rest of the world against what those elites behind the scenes want to happen, they will off you. And as we all know now, JFK was not killed by some random person on the street. I'm pretty sure everybody is aware enough now to know it was a setup by the very hands of the government. So what is the reason that they would want to take out their own president? He's not going along with what they want him to go along with. These are things, this is how I piece all these things together to understand where we really stand in this system, in this society. The president don't really have no say so. we don't really have no say-so. This is a capitalist country, and it's all about the elites and who wants to stay on top. And then remember, for them to be on top, they got to keep their foot on everybody else's neck.
I'm going to give a suggestion before I ask another question. Well, make a statement this time.
Go ahead.
Y'all, everyone should watch House of Cards. Like you had said earlier, they put what they do in plain sight, and they tell you it's entertainment. So you can call people like us crazy. Scandal told you exactly what they're about. This House of Cards goes even deeper into it, because you have a congressman who works his way into the presidency and fights his way to stay there because of all of the House of Cards on Netflix. You can binge watch it. I think it's about 8 seasons. I think it's well worth it. That tells you exactly what the government and how they run, what they do, and why.
Yep.
Call it entertainment if you want to, but it's there. But I have one more statement with that. You're talking about presidents and all of this other stuff. For the folks who say that people like us who don't vote put people like that in office, I have a question. Why are there only 3 qualifications to become a president? You're talking about the person who's supposed to be the ruler of the free world. Why is the president only have to be a natural born citizen of the U.S., minimum age 35?
35.
Yeah, 35, and you need to be a resident for 14 years. Why are those the only 3 qualifications to run America?
Because that's
they
all.
Don't say nothing about politics. They don't say nothing about politics. None about that.
Nothing about political qualifications, right?
No, you ain't got to have no type of legislative, background. You don't have to be in another political, like work your way up. You know how like when you're in law, you become a paralegal, and you work your way up.
Like Trump. You don't gotta have. Look, Trump was a reality show star, and I mean, of course, he's an investor. Everybody know him for Trump Towers and being an investor and a money man and all of that. But
money.
When did
all you gotta do is have money to be president? So that means that technically, I'm gonna keep it a buck. No. Technically, I can run for president.
35.
I was born in the United States. I am 35 years old, and I have been living in this country my whole life.
So you're qualified.
I am qualified to run for president.
Why does it only take those 3 things? Because they're puppets. That's it. They don't have no real say so. This to prove to you certain things, that they're just puppets. But I wanted to go back to when you said entertainment, because that just kind of stuck out to me. Let's look at that word, entertainment. Enter and tame. The entertainment is also like distractions. This is another thing I want our people to look at. Look for these distractions. Even this political debate is entertainment. And these things are to enter, and basically, if you look at tame, is to keep, like maintain, sustain, all of that, to keep. So it's to keep you by entering your mind with whatever the entertainment form is. So that's another thing that we need to look at, what we watch and how they use entertainment to keep our minds off of it. Notice why everybody was staying home through COVID. They had everybody hooked on Netflix, whatever, be entertained by whatever you can be entertained by, including the politics, because it's to help keep you distracted from whatever is really going on, preparing us from what's really going on. And so we got to break a lot of illusions. That's another thing I wanted to get to, that why they're doing this to us, why the government is setting us up like this, us people. We might even want to ask people that ask us, the conspiracy theorists, why do you think that? Because it's all about a illusion of inclusion. I needed to get to that.
There you go.
You have to look at, they're giving you the illusion. If you might say, okay, why do they need us? Why they need our vote? Let's look at that. We're the minority. And I say this to people who swear we the reason that because all the black people came out to vote, that's how Obama won. Even if all the black people came out, as you could even see in them stats, we're the minority general. So even if we all came out and vote, that still would not have secured Obama to be president. They lined it up so that it can be so. We just need to be real with ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves and act like because all the black folks came out, that's how he won. They need us. When you ask, okay, why do they need us to believe in voting? That was the question that I had to ask myself. Why do they need us to believe? They need to create a whole illusion of inclusion. They need us to feel like we are that included. Look, you got a black this. Just look at what's been happening from 70s, 80s and up. A black, your first black this, your first black that, whether it be judge. Oh, we got black people that are police officers. All of these things are illusions of inclusion. They want you to feel included. And let's not kid ourselves. Let me take it a little bit deeper. It's not even just for us. You think they're doing it to be fair to us or justice for us? It is also for their white people that have been slipping. They need to keep them intact. Remember, a lot of, when I say slipping, I mean like the white people that are becoming more, let's say black involved. Because even if you look at the last
black involved,
yeah, that's the best I could come up with right now. And if you look at the protests, look at how many white people were involved in these protests. That's to show you the white people, and I'm talking about from slavery times, have been becoming more black involved, more concerned about black lives and stuff like that. They don't want to lose those white people. And we might think it's crazy, but it's so true. Just look at how the Civil War broke out, all because they did not want the US to split. They didn't want it to be a divide. They need to keep it together because that's how they're the United States. So a threat to them is even losing those white people. So even them being fair to us, fair, even them abolishing slavery, all of this stuff, it was to their benefit. It was to their cause to keep their house, so to speak, together, because they know that they're losing.
They just reframed it. They just reframed the system. We're still slaves. You guys, if you don't go to work, you can't live.
What did I just tell you about the plantation theory?
You have no freedom. Y'all call y'all jobs the plantation. If you don't clock in, you don't get food. You can't pay your rent. If you don't pay insurance, you're getting locked up.
You're still in a slave mentality.
You have to pay them for everything. You have to pay them to get married. You have to pay them to get divorced. You have to pay them to have babies. You have to pay them to get rid of babies. There's nothing in this country that you can do for free.
No.
Nothing.
It's a plantation everywhere you look.
You can't live nowhere for free, even if you own the land. Your parents been there. Your great-grandparents, you can take your lineage way back 3 generations. You still got to pay them for that property.
Tax. They're going to tax you. Tax that ass. So either
how are you free? COVID-19 dropped and y'all still had to go to work. How are you free?
They're telling you what to do and you're just going along with it. You're just doing it. My thing is with my people is we're not questioning anything. And I'm glad you said COVID-19 again. What bothered me that blew my mind is with our race, our Black people, with everything that we've been through, with slavery, with everything. We should be the first one to call BS on the field. We should be the first one to see that they blowing smoke up our ass pretty much. So when COVID hit, I was shocked that so much Black people was ready to just believe what they're saying. It's like, wait, what? We should be the first.
Honey, that was Obama. That was Obama's purpose for thing. That's why he was in office, to make us think, you know what I'm saying, that, you know what I mean, that we count. And if we come together, then everything is going to be all right. We got a Black president. So yeah, we making progress.
No, sit down. Sat down, as Medea would say. Sat down.
And that's why we're fighting each other right now, back and forth about this vote thing. Because they made us believe for 8 years, you know what I'm saying, that we actually counted. And now they're going right back. And even though Obama and every hood I know of, no, matter of fact, Forget all of that.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought up
the 3/5 compromise.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm going to say that. We had a black president for 8 years, and that is still a clause in the Constitution.
Thank you.
For all you taxpayers who don't let me tell you what it is. A 3/5 compromise. 3/5 of the slave population would be counted for determining direct taxation and representation in the House.
Mm-hmm.
In the House, in the legislative,
mm-hmm.
Who makes the laws.
And that 3/5 compromise is part of what even, man, people, if they really do their studies, it's why we got the Sankofa back and look at what really happened. But that's really what had a lot to do. And I had to explain this to my mom because, you know, coming from the islands, they really don't know the history of what really happened here. So that had a lot to do with the beginning, I want to say, of that started the Civil War and stuff like that. Because once that dropped, that 3/5 compromise, that was something to do to help like tax in the South. Something to do with help. It's kind of like restricting them. I'm trying to say this in the simplest form, but kind of like restricting them with their slaves and everything. And they weren't having that. And they was putting that on the South because the South was coming up. This is what you call new money. They was coming up because of all the slaves they had. So as a way to kind of clamp down on them, this was also put in there to clamp down on them and their slave ownership and how they pay taxes on these slaves. So it was to tax them on that. And this is when the South started to rise up like, hell no, they not going to, you know, they trying to mess with our money. So how about we just secede from, we going to come out of it. This when they started to plan.
Another question.
That plan, that this is what stumbled onto the whole Civil War. And people think that it was over. I grew up thinking the Civil War was over like to free us. And it had nothing to do with freeing us. We just happened to benefit from it. It had nothing to do with trying to free us. It was a strategic move that the Northerners used in order to win the war, because what better way to win the war than to have some people that really gonna fight for their freedom? You get these slaves and you tell them, hey, you're gonna be free.
Makes a lot of sense.
If you fight, you're going to be free. So who gonna fight harder? The people that really want to be free. So they knew they was gonna win the war. That makes sense.
That absolutely makes sense.
It was all strategic. And this, I mean, it blew my mind. This is why I say we have to send Kofa back. Because a lot of us don't know this. A lot of us growing up, me included, grew up thinking, well, oh, that was nice of Abraham Lincoln to let us free. He was the nicest president and all of this. No, it wasn't about us.
So let me say that. So let me go on a rant on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since you said that you weren't aware of certain things because you weren't here. You were from somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I was here, but my mom is not from here. So I had to school her on this when I learned. But what I learned was growing up in school. You know how they teach you the basics in school. So they just teach you that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. So you think, oh, what a nice president. He must love us black folk.
Okay. Now, that goes to show you, because most of the people who came at me about this situation weren't African Americans.
Oh.
They were melanated people.
Okay.
But not African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
These are first generation, you know what I'm saying, from whether they're from Africa, from Jamaica, Trinidad, you know what I'm saying, any other places, but you're first generation Americans.
Yes. That's what I am.
Okay, so you're first generation American. How old are you?
Me? Since I'm up there, 40.
Okay, you're 40 years old.
41. Birthday
you're 40 years old. You look great. I'm planning on looking like you in 6 years. That is the plan. So your parents wouldn't know about the civil rights movement or any of those things because they weren't here.
They weren't here for that.
Right. So I got a problem with people whose parents weren't even here doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Your ancestors and your peoples didn't fight for none of these civil rights that you're talking about. All those who say that, oh, our ancestors, they died for the vote. Not yours.
They did not.
Not yours.
And not yours.
Not yours. Not yours.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't here. You're actually just benefiting. You know what I'm saying? Off, you know what I'm saying? Off this fuckery. You didn't actually go through that struggle.
Nope.
So to those people, you need to shut the fuck up.
They have to, these are the people that if you're not willing to look up and know, see, I'm a sojourner of truth. I'm about seeking truth. You can't come and just speak stuff if you're not willing to really dig deep and find the truth. For me, even though I'm first generation born here, I'm always willing to dig up and I want to know the truth. So if it's, as soon as it's revealed to me, I found out in an African studies class in college, not in regular school, but in college is when when they give you certain facts and you kind of put it, you like, oh, so that's what really happened. Oh, okay. So this had nothing to do with us.
You gotta pay them. They indoctrinate you while as a child. Then when you get an adult, you have to pay them for the truth.
Because the things they tell you growing up, our kids are so misguided. Black history that they're given, they don't even know. They don't have a clue. I've worked around other children. I've worked with kids for over maybe 15 to 20 years. And I'm always teaching them separately because they're not they'll tell, oh, Miss Cass, we're not learning this in school. They didn't tell us this. Because they don't give you all of that. They give you what they want you to know, what they want to indoctrinate you with. So you grow up believing this illusion, a part of being in the illusion of inclusion. You're believing this whole fallacy. So it's not until you're willing to, this is why I keep saying we have to Sankofa back. But sis, before we can Sankofa, anybody who's doing any Sankofa work, we have to first break the illusion. We have to first be willing to break the illusion. And what do I mean by that? Is we have to be willing to break the veil of everything that we thought everything that we thought it was this, and we knew and I mean knew, like you just think you know. Everything that you think you know, you have to be willing to break that. And if you're not willing to break that, you're not ready.
Shut the fuck up.
That, and you're not ready to Sankofa back. You're not ready to do the work. Because as I say, Sankofa means to go back and retrieve the information for what the truth is. But you have to, if it's not broken, when you go back, you're not going to even know what the truth is. If it slapped you in your face, you're not going to see the truth because you have not broken whatever the illusion is first. You have to first know that you've been lied to all your life.
See, here's the thing, sis. There's a lot of people who they know what's up. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of ciphers in the world. Anybody that's seen the movie The Matrix, you should know who Cypher is. Cypher is the snitch. Cypher is the one who likes ignorance is bliss. He don't want to taste fake steak, even though he know it's fake. He don't want to eat the mush. He don't want to deal with the real world. That is the majority of the people who are running their mouth. I'm going to keep it a buck. There are a lot of people who really don't know and, just really want to do the right thing. But there are people who know exactly what's going on, but you're comfortable. You have finally made your way through this system and you've made it work for you. And now you can't undo that. You don't want to go eating mush. You don't want to wear ripped up clothes. You don't want to be in the Nebuchadnezzar.
No.
You want to be in the Matrix. And anybody, that speaks against it is a problem.
Yeah, because you messing up their comfort.
And messing up their comfort.
This is why I say be careful of your comforts. I'm the type of person that I've never been, I'm sketchy when things are too comfortable. I'm not trying to be too comfortable, too convenient. Those two words, comfort and convenience. I'm not for it. I'm one of the last people, matter of fact, that fought direct deposit. Simple stuff like that. I don't want it because it's too comfortable. And this is what people don't realize. All of that little technological stuff is grooming. This is how they were grooming you for what's happening right now. For them to know that they could shut this world down. Let me tell you something. The government ain't dumb. For them to know that they have the balls to shut this world down, they knew that they could do it because we're at a place where they know the majority is computer friendly. They know everybody's swiping cards. They're using their phones to pay for stuff. They know that everybody's at that point. And they had been grooming us for years. For the past couple of decades, they have been grooming people with technology for such a time as this. So I'm one of those people that I just don't take it. Some of my friends would be like, damn, girl, you fight everything. I wouldn't go through the toll booth. When they changed the toll booths, I was like, I'm not doing it. I fight everything.
Well, that's good because
when it's too comfortable, I question it. I'm wondering why. Why are you making this so easy for me?
You're right. We live in a microwave society, and that's the type of mentality we have. We want everything right now. Nobody wants to wait and take the process like nature.
No,
See, that's how we're really supposed to go. Do things by natural, it's natural course. But we don't do that because we got microwaves. We know rice take 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, we want our rice right now. So now we got so you're nuking your food, and I still do it. I still got a microwave. So I ain't trying to come at nobody and not talk about myself.
I try to use it less, but I got
do.
mine too.
I do the same.
I use the stove more, but
yeah, all the comforts is why this is such a hard thing. Even with homeschooling, we done got so used. Parents done got so used to someone else teaching their children that they don't know how to teach their children. You don't know how to adapt back into that. Like you said, we're extremely comfortable.
Yeah.
And they're using that to their advantage. They're setting us up to control us completely. Because guess what? When you're talking about everything going digital, you know what I'm saying? Everything going on technology, they monitor all of that.
Yeah. Everything. People,
every transaction you make, they know you doing it. You can't, you can't do nothing on the sly.
When you have your phone and this is another thing. People have their phone and they Facebook and everything. My location, my this, my face, this. Even when you do facial recognition to your phone, I don't even do all of that because that's going straight to their database. All of that is going straight to their big server database.
Well, I'm telling you, honey, they are putting it in a position where you won't be able to have access to anything without doing it. Like even with me, I didn't like that either. But now they're making it harder for me to even get into my bank accounts on mobilely. You know what I'm saying? It is almost like they force me to have to give them my fingerprint.
Let me show you how difficult I am, sis. Just because how you said that now, I don't even do that. Like my brother make fun of me because he's like, "You the only person I know still go to the bank." I go to the bank. I don't have nothing on my app. I don't do bank online. Like I may look it up online. I may go online to see, let me check what's in my account, but I don't have it on my phone. Nothing like that. I always kind of go the long way around. And reason being also for times like this, I'm learning how to detach. I'm practicing how to detach from the system because that's the problem. They get you hooked and then you don't know how to function off of it once you're stuck in it. So I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible as I can. I'm not going back to caveman days because I had to check myself. I'm like, look, God didn't give us progression for no reason. We got to evolve. I get that. We got to grow. I'm not knocking all technology. We have to evolve. And some of these things are to our benefit. But there's a balance to it. And I have to learn what to detach from. Certain things I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going here. I tell people, I haven't been to Walmart since March. I haven't shopped in Walmart since March. I have my own reasons, but as time went on,
I wish. I'm trying. Not I wish. I'm trying. I'm gonna be like you when I grow up.
You put your mind to.
1,000%.
But at first, I was skeptical for like other reasons, but as time went on, I realized it was a bigger reason why I'm not stepping foot into Walmart no more. And I think it was after the George Floyd thing hit and all of this pro-Black stuff started to come out, which I was already on. I was ready to boycott these major entities 4 years ago. I don't know if you remember, but in 2016, there was a lot of racial stuff happening around the same time, right? And I was ready to, there's somebody that put out, let's boycott these major stores for like 6 months. And
do that every year. I post something like that every year. There's a post that circulates every year that I repost, and people do it. If we would just not shop at Walmart, if everybody in the world just not shop at Walmart for one day, just one. One day. We did it before. Montgomery, Alabama.
But they can't seem to, that I was ready to do this.
We don't do that, but we're not about to do that. We're not about to get rid of our comforts. We're not about to not be comfortable, and people don't understand that. That is the only reason why our ancestors actually got somewhere, because they were willing to be, they were already uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they was willing to be extra uncomfortable to get where they need to go. People walk to work during that boycott. Walk to work, carpool. They meant that they were not going to ride that bus since y'all did that to Rosa Parks.
And that was for days. That wasn't this is what I try to tell people. That wasn't no 1 day, 2 day.
No, that was like a week. Yeah, it was a long time.
Days upon days of not riding the bus and all of that. And they stuck it out. But a lot of us today,
money.
we don't want to be, like you said, uncomfortable.
Nope.
We don't want to be with our comfort. So a lot of us, our sins, like I put a post the other day that forgetfulness is the cause of a lot of our sins. Of all our sins, it's just a matter of forgetting, because all sin means is you made a mistake, you missed the mark, and we miss the mark because we forget. We forget about these things in history. We forget about the powers that we have.
Nah, the baby.
Oh, yeah, the baby woke up, had a nice nap. But yeah, we forget
she did
about.
Good. We've been in on a whole hour. She did good.
She did good. So we forget about these these things that like Martin Luther King, like you were saying. And if we could just remember them, then we could follow in suit, and we can make some changes, make some differences. But these people today not willing to.
We gotta
I don't know what it is. We love ever since Black Panthers. Like Black Panthers was our last
distraction. I love Black Panther. I'll watch that movie a million times, but those are their distractions. They give you a little bit and make you feel like, oh, you were a part of this. And then we go right back into, you know what I'm saying, into the way life really is. That was a movie. And then they show you who you are and what you should be doing. And you don't. Y'all, the only unity we did was come together in numbers to go see that movie.
Yep. Entertainment.
To entertain. You will spend money. You will come together. Even just that. That's the only thing that we like to come together with, is to entertain ourselves. Y'all will go to parties. COVID now. Did y'all take y'all kids out for trick-or-treating?
They probably
about
did.
to go, you know what I'm saying? You about to have Thanksgiving. You about to do all of that because it's entertaining. You don't mind risking your life, spending your money on entertaining yourself, but you won't put that into saving yourself.
Nope. And these are the things that confuses me, where we want to put our time and our money. Like I wondered that. I said, I wonder what everybody gonna do for holidays. With all that
spend their money.
So when the holidays come, we still gonna spend our money, and it goes back into their economy. Like this is we're the black, what they say, black dollars. We spend the most. Black money,
dollars matter, not our lives.
And this is where our control would be. If we could control where we spend it, if we stop spending it in their entities, their enterprises, their Walmarts and so forth. Like I always say, I can't make nobody do nothing. I just know for my part, myself, something in me said, don't go to Walmart. And I just stopped. Something in my spirit was just like, stop going. And I stopped cold turkey. And I haven't been back there since.
The fact that you said it like that, I stopped going to Walmart cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
Like it's a like it's an ism. Like it's an ism.
Because I was addicted. Everything, when you think about it, I was like, everything is in Walmart. Walmart killed our mom and pop shops. People don't realize. And notice where Walmarts are. They're usually in the black neighborhoods. If you go to the uppity neighborhoods, you'll find Target but you're not going to really see Walmart. Walmart is usually in the black neighborhoods, or the brown neighborhoods or whatever.
Out here in Macon, they're everywhere, but the quality changes depending on the area. Yes. So I live literally 2 minutes away from a Walmart. You know what I mean? It's terrible.
Yeah, I have a bunch.
I can't get quality anything. I do not like. Well, I'm learning how to grow my own food, and I found an actual farm that I can get fresh vegetables from. So appreciate that. But I never buy vegetables from there. There's certain things that I just will not buy there because I know that the quality sucks. But then when I go to the north side of town, even though it's still Walmart, because they got Publix out here and they got Kroger's. So it's like Walmart is number 3, Kroger's is number 2, Publix is number 1 when you're talking about quality and things of that nature. Then you got your Whole Foods and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But everything on the north side is better, cleaner, more variety.
Depends on your location.
Depends on your location, where you are, and the type of quality you're going to get. All of these things is what I don't understand. All of these things are common knowledge. You know what I'm saying? But yet you want me to vote.
We act like we don't see these things. We act like we don't see. My common thing is just acting like we don't see what's happening around us with with everything, with even like, let me go back to Obama with what you said about Obama, because I wanted to put something together with that. After the Bush thing, I knew that when Obama ran, I knew what it was for. I knew it was because people didn't believe in voting anymore, and they had known that. So what better way than to get people to believe again than to make something impossible happen? A black president. So when he came in, and I knew when he was running, I knew, first of all, I knew he was going to win because they needed the people to believe. And secondly, I knew they wasn't going to kill him, because that was a lot of people's concern. Oh, as soon as he get in office, I hope they don't kill him. I knew they weren't going to kill him.
Because that's to be expected.
It was, yeah. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. And I actually, even though I didn't believe in voting no more, I actually went out to vote for Obama, just to be, I'm just going to be 100 with you, just to be a part of history. It wasn't because I knew that, it wasn't because I knew my vote was going to count. It was just like, I knew he was going to be president, and I wanted to be a part of the historical moment, simply put. So I did go out and vote. And the second time I did as well. But I knew what was happening, and I knew he wasn't going to save us from nothing. Like a lot of people was thinking. The best thing that Obama was for us was a good black image. That was the best thing. We needed a good black image. That was it.
I will definitely concur on that, because I tell people all the time, most of the reasons why we don't aspire to be anything else but entertainers, back to that entertainment, is because that's all we see. We only see ourselves as entertainers. That's the only way that they allow us, honestly, to make money. Just think about all of the billionaires that we have in the black community. They're all entertainers.
It was
Oprah was a TV show host. Jay-Z was a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, they only allow you to entertain. They'll give you money, and they'll give you fame, and they'll give you power,
and they'll allow
you to entertain.
To keep everybody's minds off of whatever is going on in reality, whatever's happening in reality.
And also to make us think, you know what I'm saying, that that's what success is supposed to look like. So then when you have people like us talking sovereignty, when you're talking about living on your own land, growing your own food, you know what I'm saying, collecting rainwater, that sounds like poverty to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not living in 3 big mansions, if you ain't got 5 cars and diamonds and baguettes and Gucci and all that shit, you're not successful.
Illusion of inclusion.
You know what I'm saying? Not understanding that continues to make you a slave. This is why I don't, you know what I'm saying, these celebrities just come off my list, because they can't do anything for us. They can't say what they, even if Oprah and all of them wanted to be for the people, they can't, because they will be canceled. That they wouldn't be billionaires anymore. They will take away all of their endorsements, all of, everything that makes them money. They will shut it down. Ask Nick Cannon.
Yep. Look at what happened to him.
This man stated a fact on his podcast.
And look what happened.
Canceled.
Because that's for them to remind you.
Because them Jews had to remind him.
Remind you who you are.
And stay in your place. You can't even tell the truth about them. This is what I keep trying to tell folks. So when you praising you're a hater about Jay-Z. No, I'm not. You couldn't pay me to be Jay-Z.
No.
He's a slave.
They're paid to enter and tame you. They're paid to enter your mind and tame you.
That's it. That's what they can. They've been quiet this whole time.
Nobody says nothing.
Nobody saying nothing. The whole pandemic, ain't nobody even saying shit.
You know who I miss, sis? I'm not gonna, as an entertainer, where everything was going on in entertainment, when everything was going on, I was sitting, I was like, damn, I miss Pac. I know Pac out of anybody. And this is why they had to take him out. This is why they had to take him out, because he could not be bought. The power that he was getting. Remember now, he was putting Bloods and Crips together in the same place. The power that he was doing. This was before Nipsey. I think the only person that came close to Pac was Nipsey, and you see what they did to him too. Because I still think that's a setup as well. Anyway,
of course it was. They did. It's just common sense. You can see the evidence. It's in your face. It'll be different if there were people, actual activists who were successful.
They can't. anytime they start, if they in entertainment, if they gain a platform, if a Black person gains a platform, you have a limit. You can only do but X, Y, and Z. So when you start to go beyond your limit and off they script, this is when now they have to off you. This is what caused Pac's death.
And they allow it, and we allow it because we follow what they say. Because we follow what they say. Because how can we how can you cancel an individual who got fans?
Thank you.
If you got all these millions of people who watch your show, who listen to your music, and all TV got to do, all somebody got to just say something, and then they're not your fans anymore.
That's it. And people actually turn their back on him and everything. And it's like, even, oh, that's somebody I wanted to bring up too. Even with Ice Cube, a lot of people, and that has to do with politics as well. All of this that we've been talking about with Ice Cube, would like to invite people to look at, because I watched it and I was like, let me hear what Ice Cube's saying. Which, to be honest, it really didn't matter to me that he was sitting down with Trump, because like I said, you already see how I feel about politics. They all puppets. They all playing their part. So I'm not all bent out of shape when Trump say or do things. It don't make or break me. But when he went to sit with Trump, I see that everybody was all bent out of shape. But when I watch his interview, it's very simple. He said he put out a Black agenda, and he posed it to both parties. One party said, wait till after the election. One party said, let's hear it out now. So he sat down with that party. It doesn't mean that he's a Trump supporter or nothing, but now that's what everybody have him cast off as. He just wants whoever is going to listen to the Black agenda. He don't care about all that other politic nonsense. It's just, are you willing to sit down with me or not? And everybody takes that and run with it. Oh, he another Kanye. Oh, he in cahoots with Trump. How can you be Black and be for Trump? Let me say this too. This is another thing that gets me. When people act like you have to be a Democrat. I'm not into the politics like that, but let me talk politics right now. When they say that you have to be, it's like, oh, you're Black, you have to be a Democrat. That's crazy to me as well. Because once again, if we do our history and we look back, the first Blacks were Republican, and why the ones that were freed from slavery, because who freed them? The Republicans freed them. So naturally, if they were going to vote, they were going to vote Republican because the Republicans freed them. So the people in the South, all of those KKK and all of them, those were the Democrats. So how all of a sudden we jump to present day, and it's like now you're identified by being Black. If you're Black, you have to be Democrat. It makes no sense to me.
Nobody knows that. Because nobody knows that. That's not what we were taught. And that's what I mean. We were taught that is either Democrat or Republican, and Democrats are for, you know what I'm saying, the lower class, they're for the people, and Republicans are for the 1%. They're for the rich, they're for the you know, that's what we're taught.
Yeah, and this is why we have to Sankofa and go retrieve that truth, because we need to understand what it really was. First of all, don't get it twisted. Neither of them are for you, Black people. The American pie was never meant for us. So even coming out thinking that we're going to get a piece of the American pie, they don't even have crumbs to give us out of the American pie. They're never intended on giving you a piece of the American pie. So that's neither for us. But if we're going to be factual about it, let's be real. If you go back to history, I know people don't like to look at slavery, but I got to take it back. If you go back, they were first. Let me say this, because you said this too earlier about the whole right to vote. Oh, our people fought for the right to vote. This is what I like to tell people. First of all, it was never illegal for us to vote. It was never illegal. We were allowed to vote the moment we were freed out of the Civil War. Straight out of the Civil War, we were allowed to vote. What stopped the voting, it was never illegal, but what stopped it and slowed it down for Black people, especially in the South, was the terrorizing of the KKK. They made them say, look, niggers, if you come out your house, we gonna lynch you. Because they knew if they came out, who they gonna vote for? The Republican Party. They didn't want them voting for the Republican Party. They know that if they come out, they're going to vote Republican because the Republicans freed them. So they terrorized them. Stay in your homes. If you come out, we'll kill you. It was a whole terrorizing thing that came out. This is what the KKK come out of. And then now beyond that, when you go into civil rights, by the time you get to there, they use, I'm pretty sure you know, they use tactics like these little tests that disqualified Black people from voting. It was never illegal for us to not vote. We were always able to vote. Again, this is something I learned in college, because growing up in school, they don't teach you that. You believe that, you think that we couldn't vote, and you think that civil rights is what gave us the right to vote. We were always able to vote. So let's throw that fallacy out the window.
So this is my thing for people, because like I said, I had a disclaimer at the beginning that you can do what you want in your life. If you feel like voting is what you need to do, then by all means do that. But what you need to do is educate yourself
about it
and not come out your mouth to other people. That's my point. I'm not here to do, because as far as I'm concerned, our vote doesn't count. So I could care less if we were able to or not, because all we did was sign up for something that had nothing to do with us. My friend Tanya Smiley said that her mother told her this when she was teaching her about voting. You know what I'm saying? We pretty much was trying to be a part of something that had nothing to do with us. And it goes back to some of my notes. Because these laws were written before, you know what I'm saying, September 17, 1787 is when the Constitution was written. That's 100 years before electricity. So we didn't even have lights yet when this document, because we're going down to voting, because this is what we're voting about. This is our constitutional right. Constitution, right? All right, well, that document was written, again, 100 years before electricity. That means these people were using candlelight and feathers to write this document. And we were 1,000% slaves. So when they were writing this, they did not have us in mind. That's not my opinion. That is a fact.
3/5 of a human being.
They put in there that we are 3/5 of a human beings for their tax purposes. And it's still there. So all you who pay taxes, y'all might want to look that up. Y'all might want to see how that's actually affecting you right now, because that is still in the Constitution.
That's another thing.
And y'all pay taxes.
It's never changed. It has never changed. And you mean to tell me nobody can change this? This is what shows you how they really feel about us. If they want to
change laws, legislative, the House and the Congress can't change laws, even though that's their job.
Thank you. How is it? How is it then you can't change this 3/5? If you really want to do something for the Black people, if you want to show something, you would at least say, you know what, let's change this 3/5 rule. Let's at least look at them as more human now. That could at least be the first step in doing something for us.
Saying that, and part of me gets pissed off. Let us see them as human beings.
Let us see them.
Who the fuck? I'm sorry, your baby right there. I'm sorry, okay. But like who? Like how, Sway? How Sway do still? And you want to be a part of this system where they got to come together, all 435 of them, to come up to the conclusion that we're real humans.
Because this is what they've done all through slavery. Is all right, here you go. You want to say hi to the people? Say hi. You want to be a part of the life? You want to be a part of the life? This is what they've done all through the dawn of slavery, is to even what allowed them to feel justified in themselves to put us in slavery is to dehumanize us, to look at us as less than. We're savages, we're this, we're less than human. They've even wrote it, man, I wish I could find it, but they even wrote it somewhere in some congregation somebody was telling me about. That's something I have to look up. If I find it, I'll get it to you. But where they had a congregation somewhere, I don't know if it's in Europe somewhere, where they actually came together, a convention or something, and they pretty much made the claimer that the claim that we are less than human, and this is why they have to go and do what they do, because it's like these people are savages, or either way, they had to dehumanize us. And
I'm sure that's a Google. I'm sure you can Google a sentence and you'll find that book. I bet you there's a book. Bet you there's a book that was written with that information on it, because just like the Willie, they tell you what they do. They write them in books. They put them in movies. They tell you what they are and what they do. And I'm going to flip this because everybody thinks this is a black and white thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote Baba Heru. This is a death and a life race thing. Okay? Not black and white, life and death. And that's what y'all need to understand. This is about people This is about life and death. Even with white folk, everything that they do, they're doing that to survive. You guys need to get outside, you know what I'm saying, of this whole political box.
Yep.
Why do people do what they do? Why do you do what you do? Everybody is surviving.
Survival mode.
Everything that you get in this life, your house, your car, everything that you hold value, don't you fight your hardest to keep?
Yep. It's survival mode. It's survival
and what they
mode
have is power.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to keep that power. And they're going to do anything by any means necessary to keep their power, because they are in power. Like I showed you in the picture, there's 339 white House of Representatives, and there's 91 Senates. They have the majority of power. You can say what you want about people. You resonate with your people. Okay? You understand your people because y'all go through the same things. You eat the same food. You have the same beliefs. You have the same moral compass. This is why you need someone who is like you to represent you. They don't represent us. And this is why they're up here and we're not. Why isn't there an equal amount of representatives for each race in these slots? Why isn't that an even playing field?
Because they need to keep us down. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it was something else that what's his name, that Ice Cube had said, that I thought about it, and he was right. He has a point, but when I thought about it, it boils down to they're not going to do that. He was like, we need to even the playing field. I think he was saying like we need to close the gap on poverty. So whoever he want to talk to about the Black agenda, I guess that's what he's bringing to them. We need to close the gap on poverty. And I was like, yeah, he's right. We do need that. But guess what? They're not going to do that, because the question goes right to what you just asked. Why would they? Why would they risk losing their elite status? There's a reason why they are where they are, and they need to keep us down. They're not going to do these things because then that will involve them losing their status. They're not going to want to even the playing field, because if they even the playing field, if they close the poverty gap, then how can they be elite? That's death to their elite status. That's death to their identity.
To the 1%. That's the death to the 1%.
And it may sound like, oh, that's nothing. But when I say death, I'm using that word because it really is death. It's just like how people are scared to die physically. These people are scared to death of losing their identity, their status. It's like death for them. We're not just talking money. We're not just talking status. This is their what they identify with, and it's death to them. So to take it away from them is death. They're going to hold on to that with a tight vice grip, which is what they're doing now.
But it's obvious. They've been doing it. Think about it. A whole pandemic just happened, right? We got billionaires, the 1% of our country. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these billionaires live right here in this country, right? This is the country of, this is the land of the free. This is where people come. Foreigners come here to make money to send back home. So this is supposed to be the greatest country in the world, as they say. But flip Michigan still ain't got no water. You got billionaires that live right in New York City. You probably got billionaires who live in Michigan right now that you don't know about. But yet Flint doesn't have clean water. How? How has the greatest country actually have places of poverty? How is there any poverty here in the first place? Why are there homeless people? Why do we have to give to charity about feeding people when you spend, I got to get the number, over $1 trillion on Christmas every year? Why are there people hungry?
Better yet, a question that came to me was, I was watching a game show and I'm like, how we got all this money to give away for game shows, but we got so much people starving, but you play a simple game show and it's you won $100,000, you know?
How, Sway? How do I watch Chopped every day? I watch 32 seasons. There are 32 seasons of Chopped. And each one of those episodes, that's a season. It got like 20 episodes in each season. That's $10,000 each season.
See?
No, $10,000 each episode of 32 seasons.
You have to wonder why, even overall, why these people get paid. Period. This is what it boils back down to: entertain. They need to keep us distracted. Why do football players, all these entertainers, movie stars, all of them, why do they get the money? Okay, why do they get the money that they get? Oh, she waving. They can't see you. Why do they get the money that they get? There you go. See?
Hey, baby.
Because it's to keep you locked up, keep you blocked, keep you stuck, not questioning too much. They want you to, whatever they give you, like the good little sheeple that I'm not gonna say we, whoever is out there that wanna fall and follow what they do, the sheeple. Good little sheeple, they just want you to follow along. If we say COVID, you say all right. If we say vote, you say we going. Whatever it is, nobody wants to question anything. And if you question it, you're considered a conspiracy theorist. And I had to ask people, I said, why would I think about what a conspiracy is? If you just look up the definition, you could Google it right now. Think about what it is. It's the people. I know you got it, sis. Go ahead. Give us the direct definition. We all know what it is, but let's go with the direct definition of what a conspiracy is. Let's just look at that. Let's not kid ourselves. Because what gets me is we are in a lot of self-hypocrisy. We act like we don't know what they're capable of. And that's why I say, why aren't Black people the first one to call BS? You got it pulled up? You got the meaning?
Conspiracy is a noun. It is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful.
Or harmful. Thank you.
That's a conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy. So you're mad at me. I saw a meme like this too. You're mad at me and people like me for calling out the conspiracy. Those are the people that want to create harm to all of us. They are the ones that creating the conspiracy. So now if I call out BS and I say this is what's happening, if we whistleblowers blow the whistle, now we're the conspiracy theorists, and we just get cast off as conspiracy theories that we're just putting together. And then I have to look at another thing. Why is a theorist? Why am I downcasted then or discredited, even if I'm just called a theorist? Why is that?
Works because seeing as how in science, don't you start off with a hypothesis?
Thank you. I was just gonna
say
that's
how science works. You got to start with a thought, and then you do research. It starts with a theory, and then you do research to find out if it's true or not.
So what is wrong? Since when did conspiracy theory become such a negative word? I'm glad that I could be a conspiracy theorist, because that means I am theorizing. I am thinking about something that is happening, a conspiracy, something that's meant to cause harm to a group of people, a conspiracy. So now that I'm being the thinker that thinks the thought, now that I'm the thinker, I'm the one that's cuckoo or whatever. This is why we have to look at these terms.
That's why I said people do what they do on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They're mad at us because we're questioning everything and they won't.
Yeah.
So they're upset. You're upset because you won't do that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm breaking up your bubble.
Because you're messing up their comfort. Like they're like what you said, the cipher. They're comfortable and their ignorancy is bliss. Why you messing this up for all of us? That's like the Negro on I forgot what slave movie, Roots. That's like the comfortable Negro, like you ain't gonna mess this up for me. I got it good in this house here.
See, I'm Harriet Tubman in this bitch, and I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm like, we got to go. The house is burning down. This is what I don't get. In this 2020, people better recognize, and I said this before, this is the beginning of the end of the world as we know it and how it functions, and it's also the beginning of the new world. We're at a cusp right now. It's a lot going on right now, and people need to wake up and walk around. Don't wake up and sleepwalk. Wake up and really like lift the veil off your eyes and see.
I'm gonna tell you, sis, not everybody gonna make it.
After elections, let me say this to the people that's voting. All these amendments that you think you voting for, you're not even going to hear nothing about them after that. I've seen this before. You vote for all these amendments and you don't hear nothing about it afterwards. But wait till after, what is it, Inauguration Day in 2021. It's a lot of policies. Something is brewing. Something is definitely brewing, because I've been having dreams and a lot of people been having dreams. So something is brewing. But we going to get slapped with some policies, things that they working on that we don't have no idea of. And we going to think it's the president, but it's already been in action before the election even got dealt with. So when they come into office in 2021 or whatever, and people get slapped with a whole lot of things and they hurting, oh my God, where this came from? Well, this is
what they're gonna blame us. No, they're gonna blame us because we didn't vote.
Oh,
so because we didn't vote, that's why this is happening. You see? See how that works?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to take accountability, people, for your actions. So you that choose to vote, that's your choice, but you're also not paying attention to, you're not questioning what these people, these presidents or whoever is doing. There's policies going on right now. While they're flooding your news with COVID numbers and all this other stuff to keep your mind distracted, you're not seeing what's really going on. These politics have the greatest magicians. And what do magicians do? They keep you focused on this, right? Look at my hand. Look at what's in my hand.
Something else with the other.
What I'm doing while they're doing something else. So please know that these people are doing something else, and don't be shocked.
Know that, and they know that though. That's what I don't even get. It's enough. Y'all know that. Like, y'all know that y'all gave the government permission to, you know what I'm saying, to take away your privacy with that Homeland Security bill. Y'all know that. That's what 9/11 was about. Y'all know 9/11 was us.
That's why they allowed that to happen.
You still sit around and it's cool.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's why we got the better data. That's why every time you look on your phone and I'm having this conversation, I guarantee you anything you talk about comes on your news feed on Facebook, comes on your phone. I don't even have to be on social media. All I got to do is talk. And the Google bitch be trying to answer my questions and I don't even be talking to her.
This thing started around, nobody can't tell me this. This thing just started around, I remember around the whole COVID thing while we was home, while they was implementing and putting in 5G everywhere. Because best believe while we was home on March 25th or 27th, they had passed a law about installing 5G everywhere while everybody was at home, ducked down. They passed that law. After that passed,
So I bet they did.
Yeah, they did. And after they passed that, I don't know if people started noticing, but then the 5G started, people was posting it. 5G towers started popping up everywhere. And then they started changing. Then the phone, like what you just said, my phone started. I'm like, why is this type of talk? I didn't ask for no assistant.
Whatever their names are, they're now embedded into your phone.
People was aware of it, and a lot more people was talking about it back then. So they held back on the 5G. If you notice, around that time, there was no 5G commercials, none of that. Now, big and bold, it's a bunch of 5G commercials everywhere. But at that time, it wasn't, because they was kind of sneaking it in. You know, they was kind of smoothing everybody in. They was changing the internet, and the way they do things is very slick. They made sure first everybody home. So what's going to happen when everybody stay home? Oh, all the electronics going to crash because everybody's at home on the computer. So then now they use that to tell you, this is why you need 5G. You see how that worked? Like, now that y'all home and everything shut down, this is why you need 5G. You need more speed. And then they tell the people, they offered me something. I think it was Comcast offered me something, and it's for less. This is why I say you never see smoke without fire. They offered me a box and it was for less, $10 less. And I was like, okay, well, if it's less, I'll take it. Ever since I got that box, my internet kept acting up. Hence why we had an issue logging on that time. My internet was acting up.
Understood.
And when I finally addressed it, now I was like, I told them, look, ever since I got this box, this has been a problem. And then the guy was like, what is your speed? He told me the speed. He was like, oh, we have to change your speed. He talked to me in speed talk, right? With this speed is that speed, you need speed compatibility. So I listened to it and my common sense kicked in. I said, excuse me, sir, would this new box that you're talking about happen to be 5G? Oh, yes, ma'am. I said, there it is. That's how they moved it in on everybody. So now they give you something and then you're going to have something compatible with that, which is the 5G. So they slowly but surely change everybody over to 5G. And these are
things they do that all year, but they do that with everything. They had 3G, 4G. Now, I know a lot of people felt like 5G had to do with, COVID and all that. I just personally, I don't believe that. I just feel like it doesn't matter what it is that they're presenting to you, there's an agenda for it. And they're going to force you, they're going to force you to have to follow suit. Because there's going to be a point where, from what I hear, 3G and 4G really soon are going to be whatever that is going to be cut. Those wires, that electrical connection is going to be cut. So you're either going to have a 5G phone, or you're not going to be able to use a phone at all. That's pretty much how they're going to set it up. And we know this. We know this. So I'm here to just let people know that I know you know this. You know this.
I know that you know that you know.
You know that you know this. And it's cool again. Like I said, you can live your life the way you want to. You can be Cypher. You can go back into the matrix, get plugged back in, and act like nothing ever happened. That is 1,000% your right. But you know what you don't have the right to do? Disrespect other people. You don't have the right, you know what I'm saying, to try to bully people into doing something that they don't want to do, or something that they know is not right for them. For the very thing that you say, this democracy, this right that I'm supposed to have, you're violating it every time you do that. You're violating my right by trying to tell me what I can and cannot do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only speaking to our people because we're the ones with this problem. See, even when white folks going back and forth about, you know what I'm saying, who want to vote, who don't vote, it don't even matter, because they're going to stick together regardless.
But black people,
they're in power, so they can argue about that because they're good. We're the ones that are not. So
always
we don't need to be arguing about that. We don't need to be messing with, you know what I'm saying? Like a couple of people that I've had an issue with, I've known my whole life. Ain't never had a falling out, ain't never had a negative word. But as soon as the 2020 election come in, all of a sudden I'm these people, and you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden you got a right to talk to me crazy.
It's
you don't see the fallacy in that.
They don't.
Like, why would you even want to be a part of something that would make you do that, make you turn on somebody that you know and loved your whole life?
Well, that was a question I had too. Like, why would you want to be a part of something that causes more separation? It's like just simple things I look at. For us to even be looking into the politics, they want us to be even more divided now and be fighting over the dress, the lack of choice, Democrat or Republican. That's more division that they throw at us. And then they use us. This is another point that I definitely need to make. Look at how they use us with the whole racial wars, the whole George Floyd thing and all of that. This is them papers you get in the mail. I bet you would speak about injustice and inequality and Black Lives Matter. They use
some of them do. Yeah, some of them do. I got some. Hey, Tasha, you got people texting me, don't even know my damn name. Hey, Tasha, we're a part of the Black Coalition of Georgians for voting. You know what I'm saying? Let's get rid of police brutality. I have never in my 35 years have ever seen that in my life.
No. How do you think? This is a question I have too for people that are voting Biden, they say, or whatever. Let's help get rid of this and get justice. Where they are showing you, I'm a real advocate of don't tell me anything. Don't piss in my ear and tell me it's rain.
You know what I'm saying?
Go by what you show me, right? And they are showing you how much you are still 3/5. They are showing you that they don't care, because even while everything was happening with the George Floyd, even while that was happening, there was other Blacks being killed. You would think that the police would at least ease up for a minute because everything is kind of hot right now. Nope. They were still killing other Black folks. So they're still showing you what they really think of you in the system. And then they're still showing you that, okay, let's talk about justice. And there's not going to be any justice. The Breonna Taylor thing had just happened the other day. So they're showing you still that no matter what. Yes, that was on your list too, huh? I'm
yes, ma'am. Actually, this is supposed to be for a different live, but since you brought it up,
I had to.
It goes back to legislation.
How do we not see that? You talking about injustice. Do you really think that Biden being in president, let's just lay common sense on the plate right now. When the Trayvon Martin stuff and all that stuff was happening, who was our president? Obama at that time was president. Our black president couldn't even really have words on it, couldn't do nothing about it.
Nope.
He couldn't. But at the same time, here we are 4 years later.
But you know why he couldn't say nothing? Because it was constitutional.
He can't speak on it. He
and
has
the
to
Fourth Amendment.
But okay, sis, it also goes back to what I was telling you before. Certain presidents can say anything. This is how you know that Obama is not as close to the elites as Trump is. He's not in like that, so he can't say nothing.
He's still black.
Because, yeah, he's black.
He's still black. His daddy's still from Africa, honey.
But that's why he can't say nothing nonetheless. At the same time, he still can't say nothing because he can't look. This is another thing we have to look at. It's kind of like when black cops, when we say, oh, we got a black cop. And if you notice, sometimes those black cops treat you worse than the white cops. And it's because they have, it's a psychological thing. They have a point to prove. They have to prove that they don't have no favoritism. They have to prove that just because they got this job. And if you notice, they pair black cops with white cops.
They do.
And they have to prove that I'm not gonna be softer on him just because he black. It's like it's a psychological thing, and that's a similar thing that I kind of saw with Obama. He has to prove that just because I'm black, don't think I'm a be all, you know, even though it's well deserved and you should be, but he has to prove that to them that this is not what I'm here for, or I'm not doing this. It's a psychological thing, and it happens to all
black people. And there are people who got jobs right now that know that they're living that life right now.
Yeah.
You got that management position, that whatever position, and you got to prove to massa that you're not going to play favorites with your people, even though they play favorites with their people.
Yeah, but you can't
do it, but you can't.
You can't do it, and
they
you have to
do it. They can pass you over for somebody else. They can make you train somebody and then give that person your job. But you can't help your homeboy that you know that's a good worker. You can't put a good word in for him to make him up the totem pole a lot faster.
Nope, you can't do it. It's a psychological thing. So Obama can't do it, and so he can't say nothing at this time when these people are getting shot. All of our whatever was happening, and when Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee, which brings me to my next point. So Trump could say something. This is how you know who could say what they want to say. When Colin Kaepernick took his knee, Trump put his business in where he ain't have this entertainment. What business do you have, Mr. President, with what's going on in the football league? But he put his nose in it and saying what he think, what should happen to Colin Kaepernick. And he stirred up a fuss about it, making it seem like, oh, he's fighting the Air Force people. And they spent that whole story in a whole nother direction, knowing darn well that's not what him taking a knee was about. It had nothing to do with against the troops or none of that stuff. But they flipped the narrative on that and made it seem like he's fighting the troops. When really you know exactly what he was taking that knee for y'all killing all these black brothers and sisters. Why should I stand to a flag? Why should I stand up to a flag that's not willing to protect our very own in the streets?
And this actually, is all that wasn't even for the people. That was for actually his football people. He was doing that for the players in the league. You know what I'm saying? Who were being mistreated. That's why he took that knee. He was supposed to be doing that for his fellow football players.
That's another plantation right there. The foot, and he knows that because that whole.
And that's why Jay-Z is a part of that. And that's why Jay-Z got with the NFL. That was the distraction. He's the Obama for that NFL situation. Because Jay-Z's in there, well, we got a seat at the table.
No.
Instead of making your own table when we are the talent. There are more of us playing that game than any other nationality. All we got to do is take the players is what make the game. That's what y'all sitting there looking at. You looking at them throw that ball, them making the run. So why don't you take the players and make your own league?
Yep. That's what I was going to say. We always trying to have a seat.
Don't buy into the NFL. Like billionaire. You're a billionaire, Jay-Z, and you can't get your own shit?
No, they're not going to let you.
You don't think the football players, Akila, will follow Jay-Z if Jay-Z started his own football league? You do not think all them nay rapid-ass football players
will follow him?
Ain't going to follow him?
Listen, they got a hold on that too. We can't, because every time we do try to buy our own, look at what happened to Bill Cosby. I'm sorry, I got to bring this up. If we notice when these things come up, Bill Cosby was just about to buy, was it NBC?
NBC.
Was just about to buy it, right? Even R. Kelly, I think there was something he was about to get right before they damaged his career. Don't get me wrong, what he did was wrong, but let's not get it twisted. People knew what he was doing for years. This ain't nothing new.
Girl, that's a whole story. Yeah, that's a whole nother live.
Question why y'all choose to bring this up right now. Yeah, that's but the reason why is because they're about to do something. So the reason why I bring that up is because if Jay-Z was to do that, his whole career they would slaughter his career.
Of course they would.
This is how they kick us. What do you say when the Monopoly game? This is how they flip the table on us when we do try to play Monopoly with them. When you get to that status and you say, okay, I'm gonna buy my own, they flip the table on you. They pull the rug from underneath you. And they will end your career. And that's the message that they want to drive home. That's why Jay-Z's and all of them people, they dare not do it because they know what happened to Bill Cosby.
That's why Kobe's dead. Let me just say that. Yeah. Kobe was about to do something for basketball. He was about to switch that up for female basketball players because his daughter was about to come through and smash ass. And what he wasn't about to do is let y'all play his daughter.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to have his daughter do that training and then you don't pay her the way you're supposed to pay her or give her the stats that she's supposed to get, that you was giving her daddy. And he knew how it worked. And he couldn't do that.
So that
couldn't do that. So not only did they get him, they got her too. Because there's no way that Gigi wouldn't have went through, you know what I'm saying, and went through her father's legacy and made that happen.
Yeah. And that answers your question right there. So why these people, they can't do much because they will shut them down. So they always have their foot on our necks. That George Floyd incident really was symbolic of so much because they literally have their foot on our neck. This is a literal, it's not just fig. They've had their foot on our necks since slavery all the way up to now. And they're showing you what this George Floyd thing was a reminder to show y'all, stay in y'all place. We got our foot on y'all neck.
Crazy.
While you crying out for Ma. That's another symbolism right there, because I told you before, we're in this age of the divine feminine is rising. So him even calling out for his mom, that shows you what's happening in the atmosphere right now. A lot of feminine energy right now is coming into play that is making changes and doing what needs to be done. It's that feminine energy right now that's stepping in. So even that is symbolic, but we have to look at that. Look at how they had us, just cooped up. And then as soon as we come out, you come into this racial tension. This is how they let people release. We are a part of a social engineering. That's the word that I made sure I wanted to say. We are a part of a big social engineering scheme. And it's like they had us like lab rats. They have us locked up inside. They know people gonna have pent up energy. So let's give them something. Before George Floyd happened, I already saw something brewing because of the two people that they killed before. And I told my mom, I said, something's coming up. Something's brewing because they killed that Aubrey guy. Then it was the Breonna Taylor guy. And I'm just like, what's going on? And I said, you know what? I don't want no parts of it. So bad that when the George Floyd thing happened, it took me a minute to watch the video because I was just like, I don't want to hear it no more. They up to something. They setting something up. When that happened, all out riots. And that's right when and I don't believe in coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Right when they lift the COVID ban, the lockdown, so to speak, then this is where they funneled everybody's energy. They set this up. So all that tension that was building up in the house, this is where they funneled everybody's energy. All that anger, aggression, everything went into the riots, went into the protesting and focusing on that. And then that's also a transition to get you ready for what now? The voting. Full circle. Let me bring you back to that. That's to get you ready for voting. This to make people so mad and angry that once the dust settle, Black people gonna be saying,
"Gotta get Trump out. We gotta get Trump out. Gotta get him out.
Vote him out." So, and this is to me very, I guess, oxymoron. I don't want to call anybody a moron or anything, but to me, it behooves me. I'm befuddled that how we get blinded by all this as a people. How do we see all of this that they're doing to us, and they're using us right now for the push of a campaign? They're literally using you to push this campaign, knowing darn well that nothing is going to change. And how do you know nothing's going to change? Because like I said, they're still killing your Black brothers right in front of it. One just happened the other day. Again, they are still killing you. So what they're telling you is we're still going to be doing this. Yep. This is what their actions are showing. So while they're doing the dance of promise and pretend, that's what I call the campaigning. We promise and we pretend that we're going to do something about it. And while they're doing that, they're showing you that we're really not going to change nothing. And we know this because we see it. In the justice system, the police are going to go through the system and still get out, like Breonna Taylor's killers. They're showing you and telling you this is what we're still going to do.
So I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell y'all why Breonna Taylor is never going to get justice.
I lost sound, sis. Can you hear me?
I can hear you quite well. Okay. You can hear me now?
Hold on. Come back, sound.
Those are watching, can you guys hear me? I can hear her.
No, I'm muted. Well, I can't hear you, but you can probably hear me.
Yeah, I can definitely hear you. I didn't mute you. Your mic is not muted. Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you now. Got you.
Okay, awesome.
I don't know what happened. I saw your lips moving. It was like, wait, what?
Okay. So I'm going to tell them why Breonna Taylor will never get justice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the Fourth Amendment. It's called probable cause. Mm-hmm. There is a certain level, probable cause is a certain level of suspicion.
Okay.
That they can have, so they can go into your house. Based off of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as a judge approves this feeling, they legally, constitutionally have the right to enter your home. That is the Fourth Amendment.
They have the right to enter your home, but
it's called probable cause.
What is the right to kill? What was the right to kill her? It don't matter.
Probable cause.
Okay.
They thought that something illegal was going on in her house.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to a judge, and the judge approved their theory. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm glad we can use that word.
Theory.
For those who come at us conspiracy theories. So the cops can have a theory.
We can't.
About somebody, about what's going on in someone place or someplace. They just have to have a theory about it. And they get to go in guns blazing because of their theory.
Mm-mm. You know what it makes me wonder? It makes me wonder because since I'm the theorist, I might as well theorize. It makes me wonder.
We all theorists at that, as far as that's a conspiracy theory. Yeah. Isn't that the very definition of conspiracy?
Yeah.
Trying to stop someone from doing something wrong or harmful?
Yeah.
So aren't police conspiracy theorists? When they come through, when they have no evidence?
Conspiracy theories.
The police is conspiracy theorists. Don't call me that no more.
It makes me wonder what she really knew. Because now I feel like for them to go through all of that, she was targeted. And it makes me wonder what was really going on. What do she really know? What does she know? Because why do you want to take this person out? Why are you creating a whole conspiracy theory just to go in and take this person out? That's what I'm gonna start
saying. We're gonna redefine conspiracy theory.
Yeah, those are
exactly what that is.
And they're aggressive conspiracy theories because I'm not killing nobody.
I damn sure ain't. I ain't going on your page doing none of that.
I'm not looking for you or nothing. All I'm doing is bringing light to those who have ears to hear want to hear. That's how I speak on my Facebook Live. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, that's fine. You can keep it right along. I'm not trying to impose on anybody. It's just to bring the facts because we have the right to enlighten those who want to know. If you're willing, if you want to know, if you want to open up your eyes, that's fine. I'm here for support for you because a lot of times people out there thinking the same thing, but they don't feel support. I had somebody tell me that, matter of fact, like one of my cousins that was saying she thought she was alone because she's not going to vote. She was like, I'm not voting. And when I said it, it was like, whoo, like a weight off her shoulder, like, I'm not alone because everybody around her was making her feel like you better go vote. Why you not voting? You know, it's all of this pressure. And it was like, no, why we got to feel pressure? Just like they have the right to vote, we have the right to not vote. And I say that To all the people that feel like us, stand your ground. If you know what you know, like I tell people, for me personally, without going into too much, if they ask, I just say, look, I know what I know. I say two things. I want to plug out of the matrix. That's one. That's my one reason. And two, I know what I know. Once you know what you know, you can't unknow it. I'm not going to be a hypocrite to myself. Ignorance is not bliss for me. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm very in tune with my soul, my consciousness, and I can't play with my soul like that. And I can't play with my spirit like that. So once you know what you know, I'm like hands off now. The last voting thing, I only voted literally for my mom. Like she literally drove me in and gave me the paper. Here, this is who I want you to vote for. I went in there like this with a cheat sheet, literally looking at what she wanted me to bubble in. That vote had nothing to do with me, which was for Hillary, of course. Nothing to do with me, but I did it for her. And I told her this time, I'm not doing it. I said, I'm sorry, Mom, but I'm not doing it, not even for you. I'm being so true to myself. I'm unapologetically Black, unapologetically me, unapologetically spiritual. I am that I am, and I'm standing in my truth. And that's the only power that I could say to give to others. That's why I wanted to speak on it so well. Anybody out there that feels this way, hold your truth. Don't let nobody make you feel shaky about it. You know what you know. And if you choose to plug out this matrix and not be a part of it, because you know that no matter what you vote or whatever, and we're not just talking hearsay, the facts are there. You're not the electoral vote. We are the popular vote. The electoral vote is the one who's picking the president. So once you know that, if you want to stand on your truth or for whatever your reasons are, stand on it and be proud about it. That's my offering that I could give. And do your research. Go do your history, like we was talking about the 3/5 compromise. Know that we didn't fight to vote. Let's not carry that lie anymore. We need to stop feeding that to our kids. Stop feeding it to other Black people. That is not truth. You cannot carry that lie no more. We didn't fight in nobody's war so that we could vote. Slaves fought to be free, period. Let's be real with the facts. They fought just because they wanted to be free. I've got to be free. That's it. That's all they wanted. Freedom for themselves and their family. They didn't say, oh, we got to vote because we got to fight because we want to vote. That is not what it's about. So let's not get that twisted. Let's not spin that lie on anybody. And even in civil rights, let's kill that lie, because like I said earlier, we were always allowed to vote. Don't think that we couldn't vote until civil rights. Those were all just technicalities. So, that's my take on it, sis. Anybody had any questions?
No questions. Just had a lot of we did have a lot of comments. But just like she said, so many people don't know about the electoral vote picks the president. They know now.
They know now.
You can't unhear. My mentor says this all the time. You can't unhear what you hear. You can't unsee what you saw. I've had about 20 people that are eyeing this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Every person watching this, you cannot unhear what you heard, and you cannot unsee what you saw.
No.
Again, you have a right to do what it is that you please. I say this all the time. I am not here to run your life. I am not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to belittle you or none of that. That's not what I'm about. That's not what my platform is about. But I have a problem with people who do that. So, you know what I'm saying? So, do what you do and stay in your lane.
That's it.
Because opinions and facts, those are two different things. You can't argue with the truth.
You can argue.
So my thing is, you can feel how you feel, even when it comes down to, I tell people, especially with religion, you could believe in Jesus all day if you want to. That is 1,000% your business. That is not my problem. But I have a problem when you trying to come at me, insult me, disrespect me in any form of fashion and think you have the right to do that because your way is the right way. That's not of God in any form of fashion.
Nope. That's not of our great order of divinity, which
that's
comes
not
in
intelligent. It's not intelligent. It's not moral. None of that. But this country makes you think that.
Yep.
Because everybody that tried to come for me, they really thought that they had the right to do that. They thought that they were doing the right thing.
Yeah, they got to help school you because you're lost. They looking at you like you the lost.
Out your damn mind.
You lost. You got to help.
Out your damn mind. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Amongst the sheeple, sis, amongst the sheeple, you and people like us, we are considered lost sheep. And you know what? Amongst the sheeple, I'd rather be a lost sheep because I'm nobody's sheep. I'm not following nobody.
Maybe I'm the black sheep. I'm not low. I'm the black sheep. I will take that. I've been that in several different ways. Yeah,
So,
I'll be the black sheep. I'll be the one that stand out. I'll definitely be that. I don't mind that.
no,
You know what I'm saying? I've always been that person. I
I'm
don't go through the grain. You know what I'm saying? I don't follow trends. If
yeah,
I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna create them.
I always
You know
do
what I'm
that. I
saying?
go against the grain. Like if everybody likes something over here, I'm suspicious. I'm like, why is that so popular? I'm gonna go this way.
I'm like
That's the
that
type.
way. I'm like that way. See, like that's why I refuse to get on TikTok. I
Yeah.
refuse. I refuse to get on TikTok. Now my godson be on there, so I watch his little stuff or whatever. But I just refuse. The only way that I would get on TikTok, it would have to be a business decision. It would have to be, you know what I'm saying, some way where I can get this work. I mean, I get it is a platform to do that, but I just. I don't like doing everything that everyone does. Like
Yeah.
even with these challenges, I used to be on it all the time. I pick and choose now. You know what I'm saying? If I see one that can help me inspire, I'll go on there. Yeah, I'll go on there and, you know what I'm saying, use that for some inspiration. But other than that, I don't like doing it because it's for a reason now.
Yeah.
This is that programming.
Exactly.
And it's I don't got time for that. Yeah.
It's either I'm not going to do it or I'm the last to do it. Like by the time I was one of the last to get to Facebook, or, you know, I was one of the last to get to, you know, if I get a TikTok, I'm going to be one of the last. So I'm like,
be one of the last.
To catch up. Because
they're going to have to shut down Facebook and then you go be.
Yeah, if it's too popular, I'm suspicious. I'm not one of them that jump on just because it's popular. So, you know, And I had a question while we were talking. A question came to me. I do have a question to throw out there. The people that are waking up, if we're waking up to something, let's say people like, you know, about ancestral knowledge, right? On Facebook, people that are waking up to their ancestors. Hi, Trombone. He's saying hello to me. Let me say my hello back. How you doing, Trombone love? But those who are waking up, my big question, if we're waking up, I kind of find it hypocritical. We're being hypocrites with ourselves. If you are, and this is just, let me throw my opinion out there. You could be mad at it, but to say that you're waking up to all of this, especially to your ancestors and tapping into what your ancestors came from and went through, why would you then want to be a part of the programming in this system? Why would you not want to break the matrix? To me, it seems very, I can't find a word right now, but just very self-hypocritical. It seems counterproductive, like an oxymoron type thing to do, for me to be wanting so much change and wanting to look into my ancestral work and understand the plight that my ancestors have been through, but then to turn back around and be like, but I want to plug into this system. I want to go in.
Samuel Jackson.
Like to vote, to me, it's not coherent. The action of voting, to actually go out and vote, to me, is not really coherent with what you are striving to do for your ancestors, with you awakening and becoming conscious and aware of what your ancestors have come through. To get up and still say you want to go vote with that same breath is just not coherent to me. That's my opinion in this whole voting thing.
Well, that's what slavery is about, and I'm gonna throw this in there. That's what religion is about. Because think about that. They use that Bible to justify what they were doing to us. If you ever seen Django,
yeah,
before he was about to beat that girl for dropping a couple of eggs, he's walking back and forth, whipping, clash, clash, while he's reading the scripture. He's reading a scripture out of the Bible in one hand and slash, scaring her, getting her ready for the, you know what I'm saying, for the, for the whipping she's about to get. Yeah. While telling her that this is God's will.
And ain't that sick? Don't that show you how sick they are? That's a psychologically, they're trying to psych themselves out. They're trying to psych themselves out and make themselves justified. It's like what I was telling you about dehumanizing. This is how they justify what they are about to do. We about to put these people in slavery. Let's justify this.
Yep.
You know,
you got to. I mean, how else do you massively kidnap a group of people and make them make them build a whole country for free?
Mm-hmm. You have to dehumanize them. We have to dehumanize it and say, this is how we're giving them the best life ever by even having them come and work for us. This is the best thing for them to help them not be savages. And this is what they tell themselves. This is how they appease their guilt. This is how they do what they do with no guilt, no nothing. Hold the Bible open and talk and open to the scripture of
because he said it.
Must obey their masters. See, it says it right here. You must obey your masters, slaves.
Yep.
And this is what it's a sick thing. It's a sick system. Our system is we do have a question.
Somebody has a question. Now, I'm gonna suggest Trombone is you, because if you just came in, we've been on here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm going to suggest that you rewatch this, because you know me. I know Trombone personally. We talk, and what we need to do is be sovereign and get the fuck going. Is what we need to do. This system was built the way it is supposed to. It is running properly. That's the one thing we need to understand. People need to get out of their minds that the system is broken. It's not. The system is working perfectly the way it was set up to work. Once you understand that, then it should be in your mind, well, since it's working the way it is, that means that they're not going to stop it. So therefore, I need to just get out of the system. This is where unity comes from. This is why we need to do all group economics. Buy black, be black. We need to buy up our neighborhoods. Stop leaving them. Buy these properties. Stop spending money on Christmas and buy land.
Yeah.
I have 2 opportunities right now.
Yeah.
You can buy land in Africa and you can buy land here in the States. Sovereignty, growing your own food, because you don't know if Walmart is going to be open this winter. Don't you know COVID is supposed to be thrive in the cold? Ain't that what they said? Yeah. So how you know quarantine ain't about to pop up?
Go get her one.
You need to be prepared. That's what you need to do.
That's what I was going to say about plugging out of Walmart as well. Give it to her. That's the main thing I was going to say too about plugging out, that this is why, that exactly what you just said. We have to start detaching from the system. And part of those spoils are the system. So when you ask that, I'm glad you did. Look, say hi.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
Hi, beautiful.
So to answer his question, I had to get my little notepad, because I actually answered this like maybe months ago. I was thinking about some stuff and I have it written down. So it's like you said, go sovereign. I had put that there's a decision to make as a Black nation. This is just how it came to me. We have 2 options for one common goal, which the common goal is pretty much respect. And it was a plan of exit. We either need to exit and leave the system, or a plan of separation, which is the sovereignty that you were talking about, self-sufficiency. It may mean going off the grid. It may mean buying up a Black city. See, Black people are scared to do Tulsa, Oklahoma again. We don't like to admit it, but it's like them burning up Tulsa, Oklahoma was a big lesson and a big reminder for us Black people to stay in your place. And it has worked, because ever since Tulsa, Oklahoma, it's like Black people are scared to come together like that again and buy up and make their own Black dollars count and so forth. It's almost like there's a fear about doing it because we know about Tulsa. So it's like it's engraved in our mind. We don't want that to happen to us again. But essentially, that's what we need to do. We actually need to separate and buy one of those cities. Somebody had posted it on Facebook one time. There's a city that is actually completely empty or whatever, abandoned. We need to put money together and buy those things, buy those cities, and do what we can for ourselves. We need to bring back up something like Tulsa, Oklahoma. But again, people have to move beyond their fears. So 2 things to answer your question that need to be done. Either we plan to exit, which is kind of the plan that I'm on. I'm planning to eventually move out into Africa or whatever. I'm planning an exodus. I'm one of the people that's ready to exit out. If not, if you want to stay here as Black people for you to thrive, you are going to have a plan of separation, self-sufficiency, meaning plug out the system, like what you were saying, sis, about Jay-Z building your own thing over here. Y'all have to be willing to not care about your status, your career, your this or that. You have to be willing to let those things go. And this is why if you don't practice mentally detaching first, you have to practice it in the mind. It may take a year. Okay. It may take a year or 2, but you have to practice detaching first in the mind. So that's my answer to what do we propose that we do? Like you said, sovereignty. Okay.
All right, we got another comment on here. I am a Hebrew Israelite. I too fall short. However, I stay fixed on faith and understand that you have to get out the web and leave the net, hence internet and the web. This country will never let you separate. Yada Israel is right. When you're talking about true sovereignty, you can't do that in this country. They won't let you. And these are other things that I don't, and this is what gets me with people who are disrespectful about this voting thing. You just said that people are scared to do Tulsa, Oklahoma again because they're afraid that the government is going to bomb it again. So that means that you know that that the government is willing to bomb a city and kill people who are trying to do the very thing that they said that you can do in this country. And let me throw this in there for y'all. Ain't that what they did to start this country?
Terrorists.
Because they were absolutely in Europe. They were part of Britain, right? They had a king and a queen. They had a whole royal family that was telling them what to do, running their lives, making them pay taxes, simply because they were in the royal family. They might the people may not even been qualified to rule, but because they were a part of the royal family, they get to sit in that seat. You will never be as high as the royal family because you're not a part of the family. So what did they do? They said, you know what? Fuck that. We're going to build our own kingdom where we can be the ones that are the royalty and all the others that can do the same. That's exactly what they did.
Bully their way.
They brought that king and queen shit over here and then told you it was a democracy.
Oh, we're gonna do it this way. Because they took from what they learned. They knew that they was leaving because they couldn't do their own thing. They couldn't have their way. So they built that over here. Like, oh, we know what needs to be done. We need people to believe that they have a voice. Because if you restrict them, it's going to be like England all over again. So they needed to believe. And people don't
do what we did. We can't have them do what we did. So we have to make sure that we have a system where that they can't break from. And that was the point of the Atlantic slave trade. You break the mind and you keep the body.
And that's what they've been doing, and it's still that way. That's why we're in this cycle right now. We're in this matrix. We actually still believe that putting in our ballot is going to make a difference. Like somebody asked me that, and I was like, what do you mean, my boy? Your voice still not going to be heard. You could put your ballot in that box. You think they listening to you? Y'all was protesting in the streets and they still was showing you they not listening. And I said this to somebody. I was like, money, what they say out of New Jack, it's all about money. If you want to hit them where it hurts, you want to make a difference, stop going in their Walmarts. Stop going in there, whatever their big enterprises are. Stop buying from them. And buy from your own Black shops. Yes, the prices are going to be higher. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be higher. There's a reason why they're lower in Walmart. Because Walmart, it's like people have to understand what monopoly is. Like I said, this is a capitalist country.
You played it. We played it as kids.
Walmart is monopolized, has monopolized the game. And so they have, what do you call it? The affiliations with all these different brands. So things that you may see in Publix and another store for, let's say maybe $1 more or whatever, Walmart will have it for cheaper because why? They have monopolized the game. They can do that. That's why it can be cheaper. And that's what keeps people in. So if we stop looking at it like that and just go into those stores, it may hurt you to pay a little dollar more. Yes, but we spend our money. Let's be real. We spend our money on other stuff too that don't make no sense.
$1,000 on weaves.
Thank you.
Hundreds of dollars on Mac. $300 on sneakers. Yeah.
Thank you. So why not spend the extra dollar to pay for your cleaning supplies or whatever it is? Pay the extra dollar and do not shop in Walmart. Go into, if you right now, I'm looking for Black-owned stores. But right now, I just scaled back from the major corporations like Walmart. I'm not doing major corporations. So I kind of shop in smaller businesses like the Krugers and the Publix and so forth. But I'm looking to find just all Black. It may cost more, but it's better that we do that. It's where we put our Black dollars. These are the things that matter. If we want to make a difference.
That's what matters. Tell it. Your money. Black lives don't matter. Black dollars
your green lives matter.
That is how you change things. You stop spending your money with them. That will change things. Because that's the only thing that these elitists, white people, whatever you want to call them, that's the only thing that they respect. Loss of life
and money
and loss of finances.
And that's why King,
if those police officers and all the people that's doing all this murdering, if they were being murdered, if they were being held accountable for it, they wouldn't be doing it. But they know there's no consequences to their actions. So that's why they keep killing us.
Yeah.
They have the right. They have the constitutional right to kill us. So why would they stop?
Yeah.
You keep spending your money. You're about to spend all your money on Christmas.
In Walmart.
In Walmart and all those other Amazon, all those places. You're about to spend all of your bread.
In these places. And that's what killed me even in the riots. Like that riot where they was like, oh, they burnt down a Target. And I was like, they burnt down the Target, but I bet you
get insurance. All those stores got that money back. All those money, they got actually more money. Gucci, all of them, those were insurance, you know what I'm saying, policies.
Thank you, sis. Insurance. I was gonna say, all you did was help. Why you think them people put bricks outside? You know, the ones that was setting them up and put bricks outside their business? They wanted them to throw a brick. Why? Because if you throw a brick and mess up my business, insurance claim. Yep. All a riot was, and I said this to somebody, all those riots was remodeling time for those business. Renovation and remodeling, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to get
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense. Is what it is. It's like we just have to know our power is in the dollar, and that's what Dr. King recognized why he did the boycott. He realized, wait a minute, who rides the bus? All of us Black folks. Who rides the bus? We do. So we gonna hit them where it hurt. Since they disrespecting us on the bus, we gonna stop riding their bus. So this is what we need to realize. Since they're disrespecting us as human beings, let's stop playing into their stuff. I'm telling you, the biggest protest we could have did was not vote.
Not everybody and not spend your money.
Yep, not vote. Don't spend your money.
Do not stimulate the economy. That is the best thing that you can do. And there's no excuse. I promise you, I meet people all the time. There are places, there are farms. If you live down south, there are farms all over the place.
Start a garden.
There's a Black-owned person that has a product that you use, whether it be for shampoo, body care, toothpaste, toilet. There's a sister who has a company called the Necessities Company.
Okay.
And she's trying to be like Amazon, but have all Black vendors. Because you know how Amazon works, you have a bunch of vendors and they use Amazon as a platform to sell their products. So that's Amazon is honestly just a platform.
Yeah, you could. That's what I wanted to look
for buyers and sellers. So she has a situation called the Necessities Company, and all of her suppliers and all of her vendors are Black. So you can buy laundry detergent, anything that you can think of, you can buy. Though you may not get the name brands that you're used to. Again, you've been programmed to like. You've been told on this your whole life that if it's not Scott, if it's not Tide, if it's not good, then it ain't right. When in fact, you're only paying for the name. All you need is an active ingredients to do what it's supposed to do.
That's why we have to detach. It starts in the mind. You have to do the mental work of realizing. First, it's like going to an AA meeting. First, you got to realize you're addicted. You know what? I'm addicted. I need to detach from this. You need to detach in the mind somewhere and be prepared that, okay, I'm going to do it this way. I might not get what I used to get. This is how you start to plug out of the system and pull out. I might not get what I used to get, but I'm going to still be able to get what I need and what I want, but it's just going to be a different brand. And these are little things we have to settle with. I practiced detaching for the past, I want to say 2 or 3 years. I detached my kids off of fast food, eating fast food, McDonald's and all of that. What I did for the past 2 years before COVID and all of this hit, I told them no more fast food except for on Fridays. And they knew it. Friday was junk food day. That was the only day. So guess what? My kids were already prepared to not eat this stuff. So when COVID hit, and I said, I cut it off. After COVID, we went cold turkey. No more Wendy's, McDonald's, none of that. And it was a bit of a struggle because they was used to the one time a week, but at least they were used to not getting it anymore on a regular, like any day. So when I cut it off, they were, they understood. So you just have to take time. We all have to know what our weaknesses are. We have to know the things that we're so somewhat addicted to and be honest with yourself and be like, you know what? I need to detach from that. I need to start gardening. I started a garden in my backyard around April. I started working in it. It was already there, but I never cared about gardening. But during COVID, I went inside my spirit, internal work, and it was like, you know what? You better start gardening. You better start being able to grow your own foods and prepare to cook things that the kids would like. I started trying new things that they would like, so to kind of wean them off of junk food. Because there's a lot of carcinogenic things in these foods that we're addicted to.
Retrain, you got to retrain. But a lot of people, again, stuck in their comforts. You know what I'm saying? They're not willing. You're not willing to retrain your kids. Mm-hmm. I remember when my mom met her husband. She met him when I was 9. So I was already 9 years old. So I done lived the whole life of McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? I done had all of that. My people are from the South, so we used to eat your collard greens with ham hocks in them, fried chicken, ham, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when she met her husband, he completely changed, her whole lifestyle, food, religion, all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he told her to start giving me this stuff called wood root tonic. I don't know what's in it, but it was some liquid. It was brown. You could see the root in it, and it was disgusting. Disgusting. Okay. I was a 9-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. You know how kids are now. I don't want it. My mom's didn't play that. I don't understand. I know I'm not a parent, but the way parenting works these days is a little bit different. Where I come from, in my era, you eat what's put before you. You ask no questions. You do what you were told.
Yep.
We didn't have options. You know what I'm saying? As long as you eat, we didn't have options like that. You know what I mean? You ate what you.
There was no democracy, sis.
There was no democracy.
There was no this dress or that dress.
Whole fact. I had to do what I was told. So it was disgusting. And I was 9th grade. What is that? What, 2nd grade? Something like that? 1st, 2nd grade?
9 years old. You're about 3rd
grade. Yeah, you got kids. So come on, tell me. That was a long time ago. So I was like 2nd, 3rd grade. And what she would do is she would put however much in it into my orange juice every morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, the whole 3rd grade, all 4th grade, and all the 5th. My 4th grade, I was used to it. She had reprogram. You can
retrain yourself.
Mm-hmm. You have all of those senses: sweet, salty, bitter, all of that. Though you have all of those zones on your tongue.
Yeah.
Whichever one you feed is the one that you're gonna like. The reason why we like sweet and salty because that's the only food that we're given. If you grew up on bitter foods and things of that nature, you would like it. If that was your diet, but it's not. That's why you don't like it. And that's one of the reasons why they make food the way it is. So you wouldn't like healthy stuff.
Yeah.
So you would be unattracted to that. So you can make in your mind, well, I'd rather spend $5 on this McDonald's than to spend that 10, you know what I'm saying, on vegetables or however that works.
Yep.
I don't like it. That's why people will sit there. Got all these diseases. You got hypertension, diabetes. You got every disease you can possibly think of. But you're not gonna give up them pork chops, though. I had an old man I see on the bus all the time, a little sweet on me. But you know, he's always talking and and he got into a conversation. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm on a pescatarian route right now. All I do is the fish thing. Like, what? Like, oh, I need my pork chops, sis. I need my pork chops. I need some beef. And I'm just looking at him like 5 years away from the grave, telling me that no, you need your pork. No, that shows the value, how we value ourselves. We do not value our lives. You are willing to die an earlier death than you could.
Because of what you're used to.
Because of what you're used to, and for comfort. Because that steak tastes good. That pork chop tastes good. Food is supposed to nourish your body. That is its purpose. But this world has romanticized food. You got Chef Ramsay. Don't get me wrong. I watch these cooking shows, but I watch how they romanticize everything. This is how they justify charging y'all $200 damn dollars. You know what I'm saying? The plate.
What?
Oh yeah. That's what they have these cooking shows that teach you the game. They teach you the game. You got to slice it a certain way. You got to, you know what I'm saying? It has to look a certain way. You have to have the presentation. So you can charge $50 for that instead of 20, even though it's a piece of chicken, some vegetables, and a starch. That's the difference between spending $100 on a meal than spending $20 on one.
They made a hustle out of it.
They made a hustle out of it, make you seem that it's just, it has to be salty and sweet and crunchy and I need this and that and I need that, and you have to be respectful to the ingredients and all this drama that they put into it. When the fact of the matter is, food is supposed to nourish your body, just like your car. You don't get to buy the gas that you want. You buy the gas that goes with your car, right?
Yeah.
You can want to get the 85 or you want to, but if 87 is what your car take, that's what you got to put in it. You don't have a choice. Because if you put the wrong gas in your car, you're going to fuck it up.
Yeah. If you put
Why don't y'all understand that when you put the wrong foods in your body, you fuck it up? It's the same difference. Why do we care more about cars than we do our own bodies?
That's to show you how much we don't respect ourselves or love ourselves, for that matter.
And nothing's hereditary. I know we're supposed to be talking about voting, but nothing's hereditary. The reason why you get the same diseases as your mother did is because your mother is eating the same thing she fed you, and the same thing that grandma fed you, and so on and so forth. That's why you have that. Because you all have the same habits. You're being taught the same things. So of course you're gonna have the same problems.
It's being passed down. And as you said that, what stood out to me is this is why sometimes we need to do our chakra work. You need to get to that root chakra and find out what's inherent in your in your lineage. What have your family been doing before you? What's being passed down to you? These are the things that you need to break. When people in church talk about generational curses and generational blessings or whatever, it's those things that get carried down, the habits, the behaviors, the consciousness, the mindset that's being passed down to you. And that's what you need to break in order to move forward. That's what I meant about breaking the illusion. Break everything that you thought was supposed to be, everything that your mama told you, your grandparents, whatever they told you, and the system. This is what I call race consciousness. Race consciousness is everything on the outside. There's your consciousness, and then there's race consciousness. We have to debunk the race consciousness. We have to break that illusion and then go within our own consciousness, because the answers are all there. If you just take the time to go within, divine source got the answers for you. You really don't. If you want, like you said, Google is like 2 fingers away. You could Google, but you don't even really have to Google if you really truly do your work inside and go within, and your inside will guide you. Because even that thing about Walmart, like I said, that was an inside guidance. My spirit said, hey, do this. And when you're in tune, you listen when your spirit speaks.
Yeah, that's been something that I've had to battle, you know what I'm saying, since I've fell into my purpose, I just know things intuitionally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you believe the way that I believe, with numerology and having, our life path, my life path is a 9. So I've done this thing 9 times already. So there's just certain things that I know. All I got to do is hear it. It's almost like I was telling you earlier about a DNA explosion.
Yeah.
All I got to do is hear something. All I got to do is see something, and it awakens up in me. I already know this stuff, but we live in an age where you have to have proof.
Yeah.
We have to see it in black. For some reason, pieces of paper mean something
to them. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Actually, someone else's thoughts. Because any book that you read, you're reading someone else's thoughts. That book has an author. So what you're reading is that person's interpretation, that person's experience, how that person saw it or experienced that.
Yep. That's
so honestly, unless you experience it yourself, you're still going off of what someone else said. This is why I'm real big about doing my own research, but I'm a visual and a hands-on learner. Yeah. I need to touch it myself. I need to experience it myself. I know a lot about childhood traumas because of my experience, not because I took a class and read someone else's hypotheses about therapy, or they did a case study on a bunch of other people who got problems, not their own problems. But they looked at somebody, they looked at other people and tested other people. Well, I know my own childhood traumas. I know my family's childhood traumas. I lived that. So you can't tell me someone observing it is going to know it better than someone who lived it.
Exactly.
That's why I'm qualified to speak on childhood traumas. And I have no degree.
Through experience. I'm just like you. I had to feel it, go through it on my own, like what I was telling you about, like we know about being a narc survivor and everything, but I had to experience for me to hit it and be like, oh, it's some childhood trauma. And it's when people like us, when you're really willing to go within and look within, that's how you discover it. That's how you find it. And experience teaches wisdom. So that's how you have that degree, because your experience brought you to that wisdom in it, and that's your degree. That's how you got it, through your experience, just like myself.
And that's how they trick you. That's how they trick you. They make you think having a college degree is what makes you intelligent. But you pay them that money to go to school, and what do you have? What do you need to have in order to get an actual job? Experience.
Yeah.
I went to school for medical coding. Passed, graduated, all that good stuff. But what did every job want? 4 years worth of experience. How am I supposed to do that if you won't give me a job?
That's the trap. And then that's how people get strayed off too. This is how the system kind of screws you. You get caught in this system. Whatever
you gotta pay them back all that money all them loans you done took out for the, you know what I'm saying? Because they told you gotta go to college in order for you to get the job. That's another thing. They only give you the blueprint to be a worker.
Yeah.
Your element K through 12 is a program to be a worker.
Yeah, to get you through. Hey, what do you want to be? And what do you want to be?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to be this
when you. Who do you want to work for? Not who do you want to be. Who do you want to work for?
This is what you're gonna do. This is where you're gonna go. And
the more schooling, the more you pay us for school, the better person you can work for. The more that person will pay you. They don't teach you to own your own business, though.
No. And that funneling, as you say that reminds me of, it's like another type of funneling. You have that funneling into the system, and then you have the funneling, I want to say, I guess, for us folks or the poverty-ridden people, but the whole pipeline, I think is what it's called, where it's straight into mass incarceration, like from
school to jail pipeline.
School to jail, yes, that pipeline. School to jail, brings you right to mass incarceration, which, as we all know, was just another thing to extend slavery. After slavery, they still needed some people to do the work.
I'm glad you said that.
Here you go. Here goes some. What's the movie that Life? The movie Life. Just like that. Put some people in jail. Whether they did the crime or not, it don't matter. From then to this day, they still do that to this day. We still hear about innocent people being put in jail for 20, 30, however many years.
Let me tell you why.
And when they go into jail, they a number. You are a number. You are a part of their it's a money-making theme. Mass incarceration is done for a reason. And that was done under the Clinton registry, by the way.
The 13th Amendment is the reason why that legislation, we got to tie it back to the topic. We're talking about voting.
Bring it back, sister. Bring it back.
So, the 13th Amendment is the reason why that's that way. The 13th Amendment pretty much means that slavery still exists. Because slavery was abolished except a punishment for a crime where the party has been duly convicted. So every prisoner, every person locked up right now is a slave according to the 13th Amendment.
Hence why it is targeted towards blacks. This is why we needed mass incarceration. This under the Clinton administration. That's the word I was trying to say. Under the Clinton administration, but yet black people swear Clinton was.
And wasn't that Democrat? That was a Democrat, right?
Yeah,
Clinton was a Democrat.
For the people, supposed to be for. This is what I try to tell people. If I'm going to talk about politics, the Democrats smile in your face. They are not your friend. And this is what I said about the Hillary thing when I told my mom I didn't want to vote. I said, at least with Trump, at least I could see that this is a dog ready to bite me. With Hillary, this dog coming around me like she cool, and then they turn around and bite you. The Democrats will smile in your face, and they
Pizzagate ass. She's a whole pedophile. That lady's a whole pedophile. That lady's a whole pedophile. Yes, I said it.
Going on.
That Pizzagate shit. She's all up in that. All up in that. And that, mind you, popular vote. Y'all picked her.
Yeah, popular vote.
To let y'all know, you talk about Trump, but you wanted a whole pedophile. And this is what I keep trying to tell y'all. Y'all not about to make me choose the lesser of two evils. I don't want a pedophile running my life. I don't need that fool running. I don't need none of that.
No.
None of that.
And if he's gonna win, then hey, that's the president. Ride out with it. But like I said, a president doesn't give me a piece. A president doesn't make or break me, because like I said, from what I know, they're puppets, and I know who I'm worried about is the people that's running the puppets, the people behind the scenes that's making a lot of these decisions or whatever. And even we still can't do nothing about it. The only thing we could do for ourselves is get out. Why would we want to stay here in a house that is burning? The system is crumbling. They're losing control. That's why they allowed COVID to happen. Why do we want to stay in a house that's burning? I say this all the time. As Black people, we suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. We suffer from Stockholm Syndrome collectively. We are loyal to our abuser. Our abuser that kidnapped us, raped us, beat us, all of this stuff that you've done to us. And our abuser is the white supremacy, whatever you want to call them, but they are the ones that have us tied up, and we always we just trying to be there with them. Why would we want even reparations? I used to agree with it, but one day I woke up, I was like, no. Why? I had to think about it. Why would I want anything from my abuser? If somebody came and just raped me, beat me, and then want to turn around and give me a gift, why do I don't?
That's a very good point.
Mr. Abuser.
That's a good point.
Only thing you could do for me, Ike Turner. That's like when Ike beat Tina ass and then turn around and brought her a gift. I don't want your gift. The only thing you could do for me, Mr. Abuser, is send me back to my country. Take me back to where you stole me from. That's the best thing they could have did. But the problem is, by the time slavery ended, we were still so far removed. Those slaves at that time were already far removed from the slaves from the 16th and 17th century. Those
400 years. Yeah, that's four generations. You don't know what that is. They don't know who those people are.
They don't want to go back. So they
don't know what that is. Go back where?
The collective trauma of our people from then is, even though you're free, you've been let go, you still don't want to go home. They wanted to stay here. If there was let's say it was split. There's some people that might have wanted to go, but I bet you it was few. Most of the slaves wanted to stay here and be free and be treated as regular humans. They want to be equal. You rather stay here and beg for someone to see you as human. It's your birthright. You are human. You're supposed to know that within yourself. I shouldn't have to stay here and beg nobody to see me as a human being. So I rather take flight. I would be one of the slaves that wanted to leave if that was the option. But guess what? They're not going to take all of the slaves back because they still need us.
Who's going to run the country? Who you think still run this country?
How do we keep our elite status if we send all of our footstools back home? So these are things that I would like to invite people to look at. When we look at our history, please go back and look at what was happening. Look at how it plays into what happens today. The power that we have today is to take back our power through either money, investing in our own separation, which, as you mentioned, they're not going to even allow full separation. So your best bet is to start preparing yourself for some type of exodus.
It's illegal to collect rainwater.
It's illegal to collect rainwater.
It is illegal to collect rain. You live in Florida and you don't know that?
Oh, I didn't.
It is illegal. It's illegal to do that. So the rain that falls out of the sky.
Yeah, you can't collect that.
You cannot collect that. Now, this is how they do it. You can collect the water as long as you're just using it. Like my homegirl, her mom has a garden.
Mm-hmm.
So she collects her rainwater to use that water for her garden, but she can't bring it in her house
to bathe with.
She can't bathe with it. She can't cook with it. She can't really use it, but she can use it to water. Exactly.
I know that.
And if they find out that she's doing that, that's a federal crime.
To collect your own
water. Not your own, to collect the water that comes out of the sky.
Wow.
So y'all own the sky too?
I didn't know that. I guess
because guess what? You know how to there's no need for a water bill if all you got to do is collect the water when it rains. Mm-hmm. And all you got to do is know how your rain patterns are, you know what I'm saying, and where you live, and you can absolutely not have to pay a water bill.
No.
But you can't have that.
No, I did not.
You have to have solar energy. You can have solar energy, but you have to go through a company. You can't do that shit by yourself.
You can't build your own solar panels.
You can't build your own solar panels. You'll get locked up for that. Mm-mm. I can't create something in the land of the free. I can't build my own, you know what I'm saying, situation and figure it out.
Because they're not that free. They need you to be dependent on the system. And this is why I say your best bet is to try to plug out, to not be a part of the system. Try to live like the way I saw it here, like I'm going to survive. I was like, I'm going to try to live like tent people. This is what I started to say when COVID started happening. I was like, I'm relating it to the Bible a little bit. And I was like, I'm going to start to live like the tent people. Because the tent people live on the outside. The prophets, and I don't know, not one good prophet that really lives in the city. See, I look at the Bible metaphorically. So I'm like, you're outside the city. The only time they come into the city is to barter, to trade, or whatever. And then they come back out and they go back into their tents. They don't live in the city. But anybody that lives in those walls of the city and the constraints of the city have to go by that system of the city, which is like what you're saying. You have to buy the water, the light, the this and that. Because if you do your own thing, then that city loses its power. Sure. It loses its control. They thrive off of their control. So
we see that on TV all the time. They got movies about that. All those epic movies when they're talking about the King of England. There's a movie called The Other Berlin Girls. It's pretty much supposed to be a metaphorical explanation on why England separated from the Catholic Church.
Oh.
So it was pretty much the king was married to a Spanish woman. She, you know how they are about having a male heir. Yeah. So she, for whatever reason, couldn't. Yeah. So she kept having girls instead of boys. And then back then they didn't understand how stress and all of that deals with pregnancy. So the more they stressed her to, to have this boy, the more miscarriages that she had.
Okay.
So now they look at that as you're tainted or whatever it is. So he needed to find somebody. So he needed an heir to the throne when he dies. So he sought out a mistress. Make this long story short, one of the councilmen, one of the congressmen, if we were going to call it that, tried to use some of his family members, his wife's his sister's children, and pretty much hoard them out to the king for status.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now the daughter, the good daughter, there's a good daughter and there's a bad daughter. So the good daughter, she wanted the simple life. She wanted to be sovereign. She wanted to live a quiet life, you know what I'm saying, in the country away from court. Court is what you would say the inner city. That's living in the castle, living around all the politics and all that stuff.
Okay.
She didn't want that. She was married. She just wanted to have kids with her husband and live off the grid.
Off the grid.
Off the grid. But they made her, how the story ends, they made her, you know what I'm saying, go there. So, and all of that other jazz. But that's how that was. Even then, they tell you that was the life. The people who that didn't want to follow the politics and all that, they had to live outside of the land. And they were meager. You know what I'm saying? They were considered peasants and all of that jazz. But they weren't bound, you know what I'm saying, to some of the nonsense, or they wasn't privy to all of the, you know, or a part of all of the nonsense that goes on in court, because they weren't there. Now they had to, of course, you know, worship the king, do all of that, but they were able to do their own thing with limits.
Yep.
You just don't have access to all of the extraness that you would get at court. But a lot of people were okay with that. I would be okay with that. Okay with that. You know what I'm saying? But we, again, distractions. You have been taught social media, phones. These are comforts. And psychologically, because we've been through so much as a people, we don't want to give up our comfort. It's almost like subconsciously, and it's not that. And I doubt they think of it you don't think in your forefront, oh, I went through slavery, so I need to be comfortable. No, it's a subconscious thing.
And that's why we have to do our soul work. We need to do our root work, chakra, whatever it is, but we need to dig deep and find out, because there are things inside of us that we need to uplift. Things subconsciously are under, that people think it's under, it's beneath you. So you need to pull it up out of you, because it's the stuff that you can't see that will hurt you.
Absolutely.
Like I said, the forgetfulness is the reason of our sin. It's simply because we forget. The things we're doing right now, we keep forgetting. Running to go get tests for COVID is because we forgot about the Tuskegee experiment. We forgot that they gave us, our grandfathers, syphilis. Whoever, you know, how could
fact.
you?
It's a
less than 100 years ago.
But then y'all don't think that they will kill y'all with that. Y'all don't think these vaccines are terrible when they have it in history where they used us as guinea pigs? That is a historical fact. I didn't make that up.
Sis, it was scary to me to drive by. I'm in Miami, so I live like by the stadium. It was so crazy to me to drive by the stadium and see the whole line of people. Like when I say it was a serious line of people trying to get tested, just getting tested alone. That was scary to me. To me, it was like looking at pictures of the Tuskegee experiment all over again. You remember, it's pictures of them in long lines, waiting to get injected. To me, it was just scary. I'm like, Black people, are we that lost? Are we that? How the words that came to my mind was like, wow, how soon do we forget? How easy do we forget? This is less than 100 years ago. They gave your grandparents syphilis. Remember,
because they brush over that. They brush over that. See, they brush over that in school. Right. They don't have a thorough. They pick and choose the, you know what I'm saying, the things that they teach us about African American history. They stick with Malcolm X. They stick with Martin Luther King. They stick with Rosa Parks. You know what I'm saying? They only have a select part of our history that they teach us, and then we don't have the motivation to look further. Now, me personally, I was blessed. I don't know if this was just my path and all of that jazz, but my elementary school was extremely pro-Black.
So they gave you that information.
They gave me that multicultural studies. We had a class called multicultural studies. I'll never forget Miss Glover. Miss Diane Glover. She was a super duper. I don't know if she was officially a Black Panther, but that's how I saw her. That's how she dressed. She dressed like one. She act like one. She was very strict, but she taught us about ourselves. Multicultural studies was about African American history. That was about our history, about going to Africa, all of that stuff. That's what that class was about. You know what I'm saying? February was the busiest day, the busiest month, most celebrated month in our school. We took Black History Month seriously. And that was very rare. Like I said, I don't know if that was just, you know, I was blessed and that's where I was supposed to be and all that. But that's where my true knowledge of self started. I got it early. Even though my mom was still a Christian and all that, she still had it in her to want me to know about myself.
Yep.
Us as, you know, us as being black. So she at least had that in her to make me want, you know, to make sure I was there.
Yep.
So I got this at an early age, starting to understand, you know what I'm saying, where I'm from and all of that. So now, you know, I want to take it further, especially with doing my DNA, taking it further. Because, yeah, I have a whole nother live that I need to talk about. When you're talking about taking it back, you talk about Sankofa and bringing it back. There's a lot of things that needs to be addressed that most people don't even think about. Like, and I think we're gonna end. I'm gonna end it off on here because we about 3 hours in.
Yeah, we going in at 3.
Going in. Stuff, and we got 18 to 20 people on here. They listening.
I think we got to do a series, sis. We need to do like a series or something.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Well, that's what the Plump Queen podcast is gonna be about. You know what I'm saying? In February. You know what I mean? Like there's so many topics that need to be said and need to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that we don't, like most conscious people don't think about.
Yeah.
We say that we are the original people, you know what I'm saying? And we need to get back to our greatness and all of that stuff. But we don't seem to understand by doing that, you also have to take care of responsibility. Yeah, I know we said all of this and all that, but white folk, white supremacy, all of that, we're the catalyst of it if we're the original people. We gave birth to them. One of us did something we ain't had no business doing, and this is how that came about. So you have to take responsibility. Even when you're talking about slavery, there's a lot of people, you want to talk about what our ancestors did and like a lot, like some Africans who would think that they can say something. Well, if you were born in Africa, that would mean that your peoples
sold us out. This is why, sis, when you say that, this is why I say slavery is our conviction. I've said it, and it's when we realize that, when we really look at slavery as our conviction, being convicted of where it comes from and why we were in it and so forth, we have to understand the part that we take in it. We have to hold ourselves accountable in the part that we play in it. It's easy to play victim. It's easy to be like, oh, that white man did us wrong, which is true. They did do us wrong. But what part did we play in it that this man could come in just off of the coast, take a peep from the coast and say, oh, I think we could take advantage? What were we exuding? What were we showing them that let them know they could come in and tear us apart? I tell you what we wasn't showing. We wasn't showing unity. We was not, because if we was unified, they wouldn't be able to come in and take us like that. One thing that we need to take from our slavery is a conviction, is a unified front. And here, let me bring it back to voting. If we're gonna be sitting here wasting our time being separated just about voting alone, and we're missing the mark, we're sinning and missing the mark, we're missing the point, is that we need unification. And we need unification by any means. So if we rather waste time being separated just by votes, and that's not even our problem, that's not our business. What's going on in the system, that's not our business. We need to leave folks' business alone. Mind our own business, tend to our own, which is unification. And that comes from realizing slavery is our conviction. The people who are willing to do that are the people that's going to realize slavery is our conviction. Hold yourself accountable. Now, what can we do from this point on? Now that we Sankofa, got the truth and came back, what can we do with our preparation moving forward? And that's my take on it, my note right there.
Well, I think that ends it quite well, because that's exactly what it is. So if you took nothing out of these 3 hours, I'll go back to my disclaimer. You can do whatever it is that you want to do in your life. It is your choice, okay? But all of this fighting, arguing, being disrespectful, and all of that jazz is completely unnecessary. Please stop it.
Yeah.
You're gonna go tomorrow and go on them polls. You do that. You do that. Stop worrying about what other people doing. Because we just told you the first 2 hours of this on why voting makes no sense. We have asked questions,
and our humble
given proof, So there's no argument. There's no argument about that. You can just do what you want, but you can't argue the facts that we just put out there. So again, do what you feel you need to.
Do what you need to,
but everybody needs, you know what I'm saying, to learn respect. And that is our problem as black people. We don't respect each other. We don't find value in one another. And that's where all of my extra aggressive energy comes from, because those are the things that bother me the most. It's not that you're doing what you want or you're doing something opposite of what I'm doing. It's the fact that you have the audacity to think that you can belittle and disrespect because of it. That's my problem. If you don't like what I tell people about my platform all the time, my platform is not for everybody. If this is for who it resonates for. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate with you, you can block, erase, unsubscribe, not hit the bell. There's so many things that you can do.
You got options.
You got options. You do not have to engage with what I'm saying or what I got going on. I don't go on nobody else's page and trying to chin check them about what they do. And I see ignorance daily.
Yeah.
But you have a right to talk about rights. You have a right to your opinions, your feelings, your perspective, all of that on your page. Don't come on my social platforms. Don't come for me if I don't come for you.
I was just gonna say that. Don't come for me.
Please don't. Because I'm here, you know what I'm saying? I'm all about unity. I'm all about us.
Unification.
I'm all about unification. I'm also all about accountability too. It goes both ways. I tell people that all the time. When I come to black folk, you people think that, oh, you just check. No, you chin check in private. We are unified front in public, but you chin check in private.
Yep.
The people that you care and you love about, you want them to be on point. Like they say, them friends that you have that's just letting you do stuff, those are not your friends. The people who truly care about you want you to be at your best.
They tell you.
They tell you. They want you to be at your best. I don't like yes men and yes women. I'm human. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We all got growing to do. So we're supposed to be able to help each other out with that.
But the key word you said, sis, is not publicly. And I've always said that with relationships. In a good relationship, do not chin check your partner in public.
Never.
Because that shows that disharmony. That's not unity. If you want to always be a unified front and always back each other in public, if you got something to say you want to correct, you do it in private.
Always. And we don't do that.
Come here, let me tell you something.
Publicly humiliate each other.
You show disharmony, which is exactly how the slave catchers was able to get us, because they saw disharmony. Show that unification. Like you said, respect due to all. We could all be different, but just respect each other. Let's humbly go in. Like you said, tomorrow you want to vote, go do your thing. But let's be humble.
I ain't about to say nothing to y'all tomorrow. I done talked. All I'm going to talk about this subject. So tomorrow, when y'all putting up y'all stickers and y'all, y'all filters and all of that jazz, Tamara Plum Queen ain't about to say nothing to you. No. You ain't going to see me on your post saying nothing to you. If you look cute in the picture, I might like it.
I like the
you look cute.
You look cute.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'm going to let you do what you do.
Let you have it.
Because you got that right. As a citizen of this corporation, you got the right to do that. So you go on and do what you're going to do, and you let me do what I do.
I like that. It was a good one, sis.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. This was definitely dope. If there's anything you want to else tell them, any way they need to find you, check out your lives or whatever, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I still do my lives on Facebook. That's all I got right now. Still working on. I'm so technically challenged. I'm still working on the YouTube page. Would like to get that up and running, but for right now, it's just Kessie Williams on Facebook. KESI Williams on Facebook. Yeah, and that's where I do my Akila Speaks. Anything I have to say, any gems that I get, I just drop them there. Whatever God placed on me, whatever spirit tell me to say, I speak on it. And that's that. I got natural honey. I still got natural honey that I sell. That's the only thing that I'm, really selling is natural honey straight from the bee's hive. Good for your immune system. And that's it.
Great, good. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to talk to you about it. I don't like honey too tough, but for its, medicinal reasons and all of its health properties. That's what I also heard that raw African honey is what, a lot of people in the motherland use for their skin. That's why it glows and all that stuff. So I'm cool with using honey for that.
It's good for your hair, your nail, your hair, your skin, and of course to take some in. I wasn't big on honey. I rather sugar or other things, but I started drinking this honey I got that's come straight from the bees. I actually started doing that, and I put a little bit in my kids' oats every morning. I put some honey in there. Yeah.
Now I use toothpaste with bee pollen in it.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that one.
There's a company called Anatomy. I'll give you the information.
Yeah, give me that one.
But yeah, my friend Jessica Mack from Southern Vegan Soul Cafe. There's a plug for you, Jessica. Her parents, they deal with a company called Anatomy, ATOMY, and they have toothpaste that has bee pollen in it, and it's definitely really good. Because being a dentist, we've never been cool like that, too tough. So I really don't go to them as much. But it was really hard for me to chew on this side of my mouth. And it's very.
That helped.
It helped.
Okay.
And it even, how when you go to the dentist and it takes away the calcification or whatever that's on your teeth, that was coming off by itself.
Oh, okay.
Just by me starting to use that, using the bee pollen.
I need to get that information from you then.
Oh, definitely got you. Yeah. I'll post it for all of y'all. So y'all
don't leave nobody out.
I gonna leave nobody out.
You want some too.
Yeah, I got y'all. But yeah, so
it was
Kessie
a nice
Williams on Facebook. Yes, it was. So you can catch her. She goes live on her own. We're giving her her thoughts. She's also going to be a panelist on the Plump Queen podcast in February. So look out for that.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna let you go tend to your babies, and I'm gonna let these folks sleep on what we just talked about.
Yeah, marinate on it.
Marinate. Let it marinate on you when you make your decision. See how we not trying to force you? Just give information. You just listen. You see how that works?
You just love and light.
Yeah. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. As y'all know, I'm gonna always put my information inside of the captions once I turn this off. But the digital business cards. I gotta get out this camera. There we go. You need to get you one. That is the new wave of promoting your business. Every restaurant that I go to now, that is what they have. That is the new way to look at your menu because we're doing COVID and all that. So we try and stop from touching as much as possible. So now their menus and things of that nature are now QR codes. You can do the same thing with your business card. This is my business card, and I put it on my t-shirts. And you would just scan this right here on my shirt, and my business card will pop up. I made stickers out of them, so whenever I travel, like my business card is all over Puerto Vallarta.
Oh yeah, you put them everywhere. Here you go.
Hell yeah, girl. When I was up in there, that thing all over Hard Rock, all over the mall, the casino.
They probably like, what is she doing?
Well, they get and my business card has access to everything that I'm doing, all of my websites, all of my social media. So it is the new wave. You know what I'm saying? It's the future of business. So
okay.
In that, you need to holler at me. I got you.
Got it. When I get my business up, I'm gonna need one. I'm gonna definitely plug into one.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. And what else?
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Hi, baby. My uterus is just doing flip-flops. Well, I appreciate y'all again. Keep tuning in. Check out AMPspirationTTV on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the bell. Like I told y'all, anytime we got something important to talk about, we're going to come up on here and stay tuned in February because we got a whole host of knowledge and information that we're going to be giving y'all. All right. So love y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Peace and be inspired.
That's right.
Bye. Oh, you're so cute.